You're both good.
All right, and a very good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Richmond, where we get set for the 2026 Rain Invite Tournament. Jagraj Lonely joined alongside Justin Luna as we bring you coverage. Again, we'd like to welcome you to South Arm Park in Richmond, British Columbia, on the traditional, ancestral, and unceded territories of the Musqueams people. You're watching the 2026 Rain Invite presented by Vancouver Ultimate. And Justin, first off, a great, great privilege to be calling Ultimate with you once again. We had so much fun last summer. We thought we'd do it all over again.
Yes, this is a great tournament to be spectating and to be watching and to be commentating.
Some of the top school programs are here today. They're ready to compete at a high level, and we got two great schools beginning our proceedings here today as Byng will take on Bernett. Now, Justin, I know. You've been around Ultimate for a very long time. I know you have a bit of a scout report on both of these teams. What sort of game should we expect from these two here today?
Yeah, both these teams ended the day positive in wins and losses. I believe Byng went 2-0 or 3-0, and then Bernett went 2-1 or 3-0. Basically, both teams are coming in very good, coming out hot from yesterday, and we're expecting to see some really good Ultimate today.
Byng defeated McNeil yesterday. It was a 7-6 final score. Same with Bernett. They defeated Van Tech 7-6. Now, when you have a game as close as that, what does that do for your confidence heading into a day like the Sunday bracket?
Yeah, it just shows that your team is willing to compete in those tough games where one drop or one missed pass can lead to a loss. It just sort of showcases that you're willing to compete, and even through those mistakes, you just have the mindset to just keep on playing and push out for the win.
And so it looks like Byng will be receiving first here today. Bernett wearing the blue light-colored jerseys, going from right to left on the field, and Byng will be going from left to right. And as we see the teams gather at center field, of course, here at the junior level, we called club last year. Obviously, at the high school junior level, there's no zone defense.
Yes.
How much of a difference does that sort of make to these teams' confidence, or not even their confidence, but their game plan?
Yeah, with no zone, you can really focus on one sort of specific skill set when you're practicing with your teams. A little bit of a drop there by Byng, but you can focus on one skill set. You don't really have to worry about a team zoning you. It just really focuses on the development of the game, which is super crucial for these young athletes.
A great throw up ahead and a great reception there by Bernett as they'll take the disc upfield. It comes back out to the near side. A one-step pivot there. They're great defense, and the pass is incomplete, so Byng will now take the disc back upfield. You're seeing earlier on a lot of energy with these two teams, of course, at the junior level and at the high school level. Actually, we should say games are 75 minutes as opposed to the normal 50, and that pass is incomplete, so I believe the Byng player there took a bit of a tumble. She's okay, though, and got back up. Battle scars will start to form as well as the game goes on.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of energy this early morning, especially it's because they're on the second day of a two-day tournament. We could expect the legs to be a little bit tired, but they're definitely showcasing the athleticism and endurance that they have over the tournament.
Pass there, Byng is incomplete. They turn over the disc, and Bernett will take it. And we see the coaches being very vocal here early on as well. Pass is incomplete once again. And one thing that I certainly noticed here this morning, Justin, is the fact that there are two sides to this field, but both teams staying on the same side to our broadcast left.
Yes, back in my days when I played in college, I would not want to be anywhere near the other team. I would try to sit and put my stuff away or far away from them as possible.
The pass there is incomplete. The great interception there by Bernett. And, of course, in a tournament like this, it's a co-ed tournament. As we called provincials last year, there was an open division. There was a women's division as well. And I know that gender matching is certainly something here as the disc there is caught with a double-handed clap catch. A long huck heading back down the other way. And this is going to be incomplete as Byng tried the huck all the way back down upfield and not able to get there in time. Were the team Byng. I know they probably have a team mascot.
I believe it's the Ghosts. Or
the Ghosts.
Ghosts or Ghouls? Oh.
I know, a bit of a slip there. And with a slippery field like this, the joints certainly have to be on top watch. I know back in my day, I didn't play Ultimate, but I certainly slipped on a field like that. And let's just say my knee wasn't grateful for me for that. As we take a look at the replay right here, the pass attempt, and she just fell down. Hopefully, it just seems to be okay.
Yeah, playing in these rainy conditions or with a little bit of a wet field, it just does put something on your mind that you need to be a little bit more secure in the way you're cutting, making sure you're slowing down and you're not slipping. And these are factors that can sort of overflow your mind and make it harder to catch the disc if you have multiple things to think about. And we see a little bit of a call on the other side of the field.
Yeah, we do see a call here. And, of course, this is a self-officiated game is Ultimate, so I think they'll agree to turn the disc over. Of course, we have, again, Bernett wearing the light color jerseys. They're mostly wearing blue, but there are a few color mixtures here and there. Pass there is incomplete. Bing will pick it back up at the far side of the field as the one-handed throw is complete. Good movement upfield here by Bing as they're near the far sideline. The pass gets through the swing back out to center field. They'll take it back to the left side. Still a scoreless tie here between Bing and Bernett. The drop pass is complete, swinging it to center field. And great job by the mark there, limiting the options to pass, and that is incomplete. Great defense, I'd say, there by Bernett.
Yeah, really stifling the offense there, locking up every single person on the field. We're seeing great movement from the Bing offense as well, but the Bernett defense was just a bit better there.
And now Bernett will take the disc upfield as they work at the far side. Drop pass there is complete. You also got to watch your steps too, as of course this is a game of pivoting and making sure that you're in an established position. Here's the long huck heading back down the other way, and it's intercepted. Good clap catch there on the interception. Back to center field as Bing will move the disc up. A good underhand throw, and that is incomplete. It goes out of the field.
Yeah, just sort of in these first couple points, or I guess first point, we are seeing a couple established players staying around the disc a bit more. We see that girl on Bernett being one of the center handlers there, as well as Bing's number 33 doing a lot of the heavy lifting with the disc.
And the cutters just haven't been able to get to the position where they want to be so far early in the game. And just as I say that, maybe the commentator's curse there, Bernett able to get a pass completed. As she's looking for options, will simply drop it back near the center line. Here's a long huck back to the end zone, and that is...
Good try, good try.
It was caught, but I believe he was out of field, so the point won't count. And that is what the teams are saying as well.
Yep. A great look, but just wasn't able to keep it in bounds. You'll see this a lot with the juniors. You'll see a lot of really big hucks. Sometimes they won't be completed, sometimes they will, but it is always exciting. It is always exciting to see these big shots go up.
So the teams will await here as I believe at the near corner, they're set to play the disc. It's into the hands of Bing here. And we have come to a resolution. One-on-one is the mark there. And of course, you'll see here at certain instances, a great catch. What a catch there. Falling down, able to keep the play alive is 23 on Bing. The drop pass gets through out to the near side. He'll look for options, plays the disc upfield. A long huck heading back down the other way. This one's got a chance, and it is caught! Bing strikes first here in Richmond. A great play upfield. The pass is complete, and they'll take the point.
Yeah, this is really anyone's game right now. We've seen Bernett get a lot of chances in Bing's end zone. We've seen Bing get a lot of chances in Bernett's end zone. Let's take another look at the huck here.
And great patience there by the handler to wait for the man to get open, and then what awareness on the long huck, seeing the cutter is heading downfield and able to complete the pass.
Yeah, hotly contested pass there, having enough mindset to just focus on the catch and secure it before coming down safely.
And in a game, Justin, where the cutters necessarily up to that point hadn't had the most of success, I think you can see the trust is still there from Bing that their cutters will eventually find their stride and get to the right places.
Exactly. It doesn't matter if it takes 5 shots or 10 shots. It's juniors ultimate. Throw it up there and let's go make some athletic plays. Let the kids throw their bodies around. They'll get right back up. Maybe when you're in the adults or maybe when you're in grade 12 or college, maybe those layouts do take a toll on your body, but the kids can take it. They're willing to throw their body around.
Especially with this being, you and I were talking off air, the first sanctioned tournament of the season. A lot more tournaments still to come, both at the high school level and for some of these players at the club level too.
Yeah, some of these players, this is probably their first 4 or 5 games they've ever played playing Ultimate, and honestly, it's hard to tell. They're playing great. They're making great cuts. The skill level from when I used to play has definitely grown, and we're seeing it here on full display.
Should be a very exciting season, both at the club and at the high school level. We shall remind you that JointWorks helps athletes recover fast, move better, and perform at their peak with expert rehab and performance care. Learn more at jointworks.ca. And we thank them for their support of this weekend's tournament. The final day here, the Sunday bracket. Of course, teams did take action yesterday as well. Lots of great games went on yesterday. And they're looking to keep that same flow going. And also see here, especially with the couple of games under their belt, Justin, that teams are not going to be afraid to dump and reset. No need to force anything in a game like this.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot with especially Bing's number 33 or 23, that anytime the disc gets to the sideline to maybe a cutter who's not as confident with the disc, he'll go back, make a couple moves, and get the disc right back into his hands. And just a little bit more steady with the disc, able to facilitate it a bit more, distribute it a bit more around to his team, keeping the possession alive, which just increases the chances of Bing scoring.
We shall remind you that games in this tournament go to 13 points. There's no need to win by 2. There's a hard cap at 75 minutes. And if you could, Justin, when you talk about gender matching in a mixed tournament like this, how does that sort of work?
Yeah, it just really important to share the disc around with both genders, especially if you're trying to get those single matchups in the end zone or under where you don't have 2 genders competing. You really want to isolate that one player, especially in the junior level. There are no zones and there are no zones and no flip blocks, so you do expect to see these one-on-one matchups entirely throughout the game.
Yeah, so teams are constantly flipping to that starting ratio, which is 4-3. I mean, you see alternates every few points. Sometimes it's a 1-3 ratio, 4-5 ratio as well, as the disc is now back at the Bernett end zone, and they will start their offensive attack here as they move the disc upfield. This one's got a chance for the reception, and it is complete. A great catch upfield there by Bernett, as they'll drop it back out to the left center of the field. The marker is right up there, the stall count going on. She has to get a pass through, throws it to the end zone. This one's got a chance, and it is caught, but a great play there by Bernett as they have tied this game at 1. Man, what a response after giving up the game's opening point.
Yeah, those first point jitters from Bernett seem to be all gone now. We see 2 excellent hucks into the end zone there. The first one just into the stride of the player in the white, and then right back into the same player's hands, who finds a girl a little deep into the end zone, able to just put it into the perfect spot. We'll see it here. A little bit of a backhand huck, floating just above everyone, right into the hands of the receiver there.
Arms certainly don't look tired with these 2 teams. I'm sure they got a great night's rest last night. And, after you play a couple of games, it helps you sleep better, too, knowing that energy has all gone to a certain place.
Yes, the best sleep I always get is after day 1 of a tournament, where I don't want to do anything after the last game. I just want to go to sleep immediately, and nothing gets me 8 hours of sleep like a Frisbee tournament.
Of course, in a game like this, I know spirit of the game is a big thing, respect and fair play. And, those good habits, especially for players that want to reach provincials and ultimately want to reach nationals, it's tournaments like these where you want to establish those good habits to take those forward with you as the season progresses on.
Yeah, and I just want to shout out all the coaches who are coaching at the high school level. Often they are volunteers, so they have to take the responsibility of teaching their players spirit of the game, the rules, and also having to teach brand new players the complicated sport of ultimate frisbee, teaching them how to throw, how to cut, and it's sort of a thankless job, but the sport is run on these volunteers and high school coaches at the end of the day who facilitate and push their players to play club and play nationals and play club, adult and college as well.
You know, some may think that it's a simple game of you just simply throw the disc ahead and try and get it to the end zone. There's a lot more that goes into this great sport of ultimate, and you know, I think it's starting to, and I know you and I talked about this a bit last year too, but the continued growth of the sport is great to see, and it's getting more and more exposure as the years go on.
Exactly. Yes, I totally agree. Back when I play, and I'm going to be saying this a lot, unfortunately, not a lot of cameras on the field. It was a bit harder to record games. Not everyone had a drone, but even at this tournament, at the first sanctioned high school tournament, you'll see drones in the sky, you'll see cameras everywhere, and it's really helping the growth of the sport.
So Bernett perhaps not able to get enough elevation and power on the throw there, as Bing will now take the disc. They'll move it upfield. It comes back out to the far side. Great pass there right at the end zone line. Flip forward, and it's caught. Good double-handed catch there. And Bing respond immediately. Back and forth we go here. It's like a boxing match. One team gets a swing, the other responds with the counter. It's 2-1 Bing.
Yeah, very different vibes from these 2 points compared to the first. First point, maybe they definitely had a little bit of jitters, but now they're just punching each other in the face, going right through each other, moving that disc fast here.
Yeah, great movements. All it took is 1, 2, and then the third pass right here, which they sent it to the end zone. And I think you can contribute also a lot of that to Bernett not getting the full elevation on the pass, perhaps, the original, the huck downfield that they sent it. They couldn't get enough on that there.
Yeah, sort of an understated skill of the game is the pull off the
point.
The
pull, yes.
The pull. If you're able to get it deep into the other team's end zone, you can set up a very strong, stifling defense right away. Puts a lot of pressure on the other team's handlers, but if you sort of do a shallow pull like that, all of that pressure for an early turnover is kind of gone, because you sort of know you can, if you're if you believe in your defense, that you can get the disc back, but doing it a bit shallow, you definitely want that pull a little bit deeper into the other team's zone there.
Sean reminds you that there is a hard cap at 75 minutes if the game does not reach 13 points by that point. And the teams at that point at the hard cap will finish the current point. Then the game will end unless it is tied. Halftime, of course, here is at 7 points, or when we hit the 45-minute mark of the game. 57-14 left to go in this one.
And if these teams still keep scoring at this rapid rate, this game will reach the score cap instead and not reach the hard cap.
And halftime, of course, is 5 minutes, which allows these teams to get a quick breather. If the coaches want to talk things over, they can as well. Then we get set for the pull here from Bing. As we can see, the coaching staff for Bernett taking their time here, explaining to their team, perhaps trying to settle things down, Justin.
Yeah. Something you'll see a lot, especially in the high school division here, is you'll see a lot of key players sort of come out to shine. The disc, throwing the frisbee is quite difficult. It's not like shooting a ball or kicking a ball. There are a little bit of more nuanced skills involved, so a lot of the club athletes will take more of that responsibility. So you'll see them surrounding the disc a little bit more. You'll see the disc in the same hands of the same players. But for the cutters, you'll just see the big athletes. Anyone can be a cutter. You just got to make big plays, show a lot of heart, and show a lot of hustle.
It looks like Burnett's ready to receive the pull. And here it comes from Bing. And again, just not what they wanted on the pull there, as that one went all the way out of the field. It comes back in, and Bernett gets set to throw the disc here.
And when the disc does go out of bounds on the pull, they are allowed to take it into the middle where the disc first went out of bounds.
A long huck heading down to the end zone. This one's got a chance, and it is caught. No, it is dropped there with the left hand, and that will count as an incomplete pass.
Just great pressure by that Bing defender to sort of catch up and make that catch a little bit harder. Even if he wasn't able to get there exactly, just those footsteps you hear do make a lot of pressure and make the catch harder.
The pass was incomplete there. Here is Bing trying to go upfield. A great pass. Sent upfield out now to the far side. It's dropped back. Great pivot foot there. The underhand is complete. Smart passing there from Bing as they get it back to center field. Here's a long huck heading down the other way. This one's got a chance. The read is there. It is caught. And a great pass there on the reception, as it will be a Bing score, and they are up 3-1.
Yes, that was a very mature box out by number 23 on Bing. We'll get a replay of it soon, but a lot of the times you'll see players wanting to sky their opponent and jump up a bit higher, make the big play. But 2-3 was able to just stay calm and composed. He had this positioning onto the disc and he decided to slow down and just play the positioning, not needing to jump super high, but just keeping his player out of the play and making a nice, easier catch for himself.
Great catch there. And again, we talked about those plays about not simply needing to force anything, especially in the early moments of a close game like this. And Bing there taking their time, getting the disc upfield to where they want it to be. And teams will talk things over. And I think one benefit of having this many goals earlier on is it gives the coaches a bit of a chance to talk things over with their team. Of course, in timeouts, regarding timeouts here, there's only one timeout per half for both teams. They get a 90-second timeout. There's one floater timeout as well. No timeouts during cap. So simply put, timeouts are limited. And once we do hit cap, Justin, correct me if I'm wrong, teams simply just have to play it out.
Yes. It's great because sometimes cap points can last 15, 20 minutes, which is horrible for tournament directors such as myself, but great for the fans because especially if it's a universe point, if all games are finished, every single pair of eyes is on the last game where it could be a do or die moment for both teams.
Well, I certainly remember in provincials last year, there were a few games where it came down to the universe point, and I found myself making 3 different calls of, this game is over, they won the championship. No, we have another point to play. And no, I certainly remember that, but it was a great learning experience for myself, calling Ultimate for the first time last year, and I'm really happy to be back for another season. And like I said, it's just it's great to be part of a growing sport like this, and it's only going to get bigger and bigger as the years go on.
Yes, that last year's Club Provincials was an excellent tournament to watch for all the fans and spectators at home, especially that men's and women's finals where both Canyon, yeah, both Canyon with the huge upset of Dino, and then, no, both Canyon teams won.
No, Dino won the women's.
Oh, Dino won the women's, yes.
Yeah, Canyon won. Canyon upset Dino in the men's, or the open,
yeah,
the open final. Yeah,
both games fantastic to watch.
Oh, great
I wish
games.
I was there.
Great games. Yeah, I know you couldn't be there on the last day. Yeah. But no, the open final was a great one to call. And of course, that was a bobble pass there, somehow gets complete. Great pass there by Bernett, and looks like they were juggling the disc, but it gets complete. The pass is complete there. As you see, the pivot foot established, long huck down to the end zone, and that is incomplete. But a great bit of a juggle there by Bernett, keeping the play alive. Let's take a look at the replay right here. Oh, they flipped it high up in the air and caught. She flipped it into the air, and then she caught it herself.
Well, what a great presence of mind to stay with the disc with 2 Bing players surrounding you.
Great pass there from the near sideline. Great flip there, but that is incomplete. I know Bing player there, he was thinking he could perhaps use the wind to his advantage. He tried the forehand throw there, and just a bit, it was unsuccessful. Rather, the pass there. Here's Bernett on the counter. They'll play back to center field, and that is caught. A great huck ends up in Burnett's favor. The stall count goes on. They drop it back as she'll look to move it upfield. Great underhand throw, but that is an incomplete pass as the pass is dropped. And looking to go back upfield with speed was Bing, and now both teams find themselves with incomplete short passes. Bit of miscommunication there on both parts, Justin.
Yeah, speed is a weapon, but it is also a curse. We see the number 2 Bernett put the disc behind her back and fake a flick, and all of a sudden the disc is gone. But maybe it worked the first time, but maybe not the second.
Flip there, but a great play by number 64 on Bing there as she's able to cause the interception. Here's a throw and a huck back down the near sideline. He'll throw it to the end zone, and that is caught. great left-handed catch, great play upfield, and Bing is up 4-1.
Yeah, we are seeing the Bing players get a little bit more energy now. They're completing all their hucks. They got runners going every single time there's a turnover, and it seems that both teams' game plan is just to huck the disc, let their athletes work. But I think Bing just has a little bit more energy and a little bit more deep receivers right now.
Let's take a look at the replay right here on that great pass upfield. And sometimes those one-handed catches are hard to calculate. But not only does number 3, Bing, catch it with one hand, he's able to get the throw complete on the forehand there, and the pass is caught in the end zone, so it's 4-1 now for Bing. We were talking about the club finales last year. I believe when Canyon beat Dino, that was only the second ever loss in Dino's club's history because they had only lost the one nationals before. A dominant program there, and I'm sure over the years we've seen a lot of dominant school programs that have taken such presence as well.
Yeah, right now, I believe last year Templeton and Handsworth were 2 of the teams in the finals last year. Both very strong programs currently with lots of players that moved on and graduated that went on to go play college and adult club. This year it's sort of more of a toss-up. We're not really sure who the best teams in the province are just because, players graduate. So it is always interesting every single year to see which programs have rising stars and what they can do at the end of the season.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I mean, like we said, this tournament here is it's a great stepping stone for these teams that want to move forward. Of course, no zone defense and no foot blocks allowed in the junior division. So, and I think another interesting rule here is the fact, Justin, that players have to represent their own school that they attend. There's no pickups allowed,
Yes.
in the school level according to BC School Sports.
Yeah.
But that also plays to an advantage too, this chemistry with people that you see every day at school.
Yeah, back in my day, as I say a lot, these tournaments weren't necessarily sanctioned by BC School Sports, so you could have pickup players that would come in and sort of be ringers for your team. While it did help with the tournament results, overall, once provincials came, that was sanctioned by BC School Sports. So if you were relying on one player as a pickup from another school, all of a sudden you have to figure it out again without that singular player, and that could cause chemistry issues. So was it worth it to have really good tournament results for the confidence of your team, or was it better to focus on chemistry for, probably the most important tournament of the year in provincials?
So Bing now will await for Bernett to complete the rundown from the coach, and you can see the Bernett coaching staff here just taking a bit more time settling things down as Bing has all of a sudden taken a 3-point lead with halftime approaching pretty soon here. We're at the 47-minute mark.
While teams are limited to, I believe, 2 minutes or 90 seconds between points, especially at the junior level and at, the first tournament of the season, there is a little bit more lenience just to make sure that the players are properly developing and they understand what's going on. These tournaments are really solely focused and more prioritizing development of the players and the sport.
So it seems like Bing is ready to throw the disc, and looks like Bernett is ready for the pull. And here comes the pull. What a throw there. It ends up staying in field, and that is a great pull there by Bing as they're able to get it back on the other side of the field.
We'll see in the hands of number 2 again, who has been a very steady handler for this Bernett offense. I think she's played every single point.
She'll throw it down the other way, and that is caught. A good two-handed clap catch there near the end zone line. They flip it forward, but that is incomplete. And that's going to be a tough one for Bernett, as they had a great huck all the way to the end zone line, but just couldn't get it past the end zone. They are, I believe, contesting the play. They are disputing the play here, so.
I believe it's uncontested. I think the coach on the other side was telling the Bernett player to call the foul. The Bing coach was telling the Bernett player to call the foul. So good sportsmanship there by the Bing coaches.
All right, we will see Bernett here trying to complete the pass, and that is incomplete. Again, you get the second chance, but you're not able to complete it. Here's a long huck down the other way, but that ends up to the other field. And of course, I believe that is field 6. We have games going on there as well. I think we're lucky enough where they currently weren't in a live game scenario. Would have made it a lot more confusing for that other side. So off the last pass being incompleted, we'll see Bernett. Stall counts at 8. And she's able to complete it as, or she was able to get the pass off as the stall count reached just about 10, but the pass is incomplete.
And we're seeing number 33 call a vertical stack for his team. A lot of teams in juniors run the vertical stack because it's a little bit easier to play. It makes it easier for players to know when to clear. And you can see it here where Bing is just absolutely dicing up the field right now.
Quick passes upfield and a great catch there by number 23 on Bing. He'll throw it to the end zone, and that is incomplete. Great defensive play by Bernett there. And I think that is number 2 on Bernett,
yes,
whom you were alluding to earlier on, Justin. She's playing very well so far, especially on the defensive side of the disc.
Yeah, she's doing a lot of the heavy lifting for her team right now. Not a lot of cutter action, and she's really trying to get her team going and get them moving.
Bing will take the disc here. They'll throw it upfield to the end zone. And again, it's number 2 from Bernett as she is able to deny the pass there. And Bernett able to, again, get another great stop on the defensive side of the disc.
Yes, the guardian angel on defense and the general on offense. What cannot number 2 do?
And this game certainly, of course, still 4-1. We're past the 45-minute mark here. As I believe at the next point it will be halftime with these two teams. Pass is thrown to the end zone, and that is caught as Bing adds another on to the score. It is 5-1 now for Bing. And with that, I believe we will be at halftime between these two teams.
Yeah, while the score is pretty large, the game has been closer than the score entails. Bernett has had tons of chances to score in the end zone. And right now they're just getting a little bit unlucky. They're just not able to come down with all these discs. And anytime there's a turnover, Bing moves that disc very fast. They have the legs to go deep in the end zone and just score off any sort of turnover that Bernett produces.
So Bing takes a 5-1 lead into the halftime. And with that, we will look to see how this game continues on. 5-1, obviously the score, but we shall remind you that London Pub is Main Street's go-to spot for sports, bar games, and team hangouts. Check them out at londonpubvan.com. We thank them for their support of this weekend's tournament. 5-1, the score. Strong half from Bing, who they seem ready to go and ready to take this forward, while you'll see Bernett here, the coaching staff, trying to settle things down. And for this Bing team, of course, Justin, when you take a look at them coming into today's game as well, the tiebreak in a tiebreak scenario, it's head-to-head, the win-loss record, the point differential. Point differential certainly mattering in the standings, as well as in the pool play. Bernett, of course, they defeated Fleetwood Park by a score of 6-4. They would lose to Hamber, though. That would be a 13-0 score for Hamber over Bernett. Hamber certainly seems like a strong team. And then when you take a look at the Bing side of the equation, they defeated Semiahmoo 8-6, and they would defeat Boyd 9-5. So two strong showings from Bing there. And then there was obviously the crossover in which Bing defeated McNeil by a 7-6 score. We talked about that earlier on. And Bernett defeated Van Tech by a score of 7-6. All great schools in their own right. And, it sometimes when you lose a game like that, 13-0, I mean, it matters what you do after that. How do you sort of respond? In a gutsy win by Bernett there, as they defeated Van Tech 7-6 to earn their right to play this bracket here.
Yeah, it's very easy for teams to go down and then sort of bring that energy to the next game, but being able to produce a win after being down 13-0 and get a universe win of all wins is extremely important, not only for, the tournament results, but for also the team's mental.
Of course, talking about Hamber, after that 13-0 win, Hamber would go on to lose. They would lose to Point Grey by a 9-8 score. We're back to live action here as a great catch there by Bernett is complete. Great drop pass out to the near side, but you talked about speed, Justin, earlier on. It could play to your factor, but it also sometimes serves as a talk or a watching point as well. Clap catch is incomplete, and speed, they're trying to utilize the speed, but it's working against them right now.
Yeah, that was an excellent backhand break hook on the same side. Not something you usually see, but almost worked out.
Near side, there's the fake. Here's the throw up and over our tent, and this one is out of play. And so Bernett is calling a foul there. They thought that there was contact on the arm. Teams will talk it over. And sometimes, as you made mention, in this case, they will either agree to the foul as if it is disputed. Sometimes they just agree to play from where the last play started.
It seems that this was an uncontested foul. So on the throw, that means the Bernett player has all 10 stalls once again.
So the stall count is reset at the near side corner. It's tossed up, and that is incomplete as the left-handed catch is unsuccessful. Bing now look to take the disc back upfield, and so close yet so far there for Bing, but again, an incomplete pass.
You see Burnett's number 2 going to the disc again. That steady handler, hoping to make, not miracles, but hoping to get her cutters into action. Looking for more options downfield that she does not see.
So the disc will now get back from the far side. It's sent upfield, and that is thrown down. A great play there by Bing's number 11 on defense, and she'll head all the way back upfield, returning as the cutter. And the pass there is incomplete as number 64 couldn't pick it up. So Bernett will take possession here. As the disc comes back now to Burnett's number 2. As she'll toss it upfield, the underhand catch, that's thrown to the end zone, and that is incomplete. As again, number 71, I believe, or number 11 on Bing. I think that should be our matchup to watch. Number 11 on Bing versus number 2 on Bernett. Those two have been very active so far in today's game.
Yeah, number 11 being the captain for that Bing squad, as is number 2. Both putting in a lot of effort to get their teams going.
Here's a long huck back down the other way, and this one will be incomplete as it heads all the way down to the other field.
And while these hucks are incomplete, what I'm noticing the most is that the form on a lot of these hucks is quite good. So another even 1 month or even a couple weeks of development, and these hucks that started off us going out of bounds could become very much downfield threats.
And we haven't seen too many attempts or too many layouts just yet, but I think as the games roll on in today's proceedings, you see the finals, you'll see a lot more sacrifices being made as the game goes on, as the day goes on, especially as the drop pass there is complete. Bing will move this one upfield. The stall count going on. He's looking for options, has to throw, and last minute effort there, able to drop it back. Great defense by Bernett. Disc is moved upfield back to center field. Here's an attempt, and that is thrown up. Now to the end zone. Here's a chance, and that is caught. Clap catch is complete. Bing is up 6-1, and it is at number 11 getting the score there for Bing. Great sportsmanship there.
Yes. I just want to highlight the first break pass that sort of got it all started. I believe it was number 3 on Bing that was able to break the mark, put that disc into the middle of the field, and that just sort of started a jailbreak for Bing's team, where they were able to just get some feet moving downfield and able to just produce a couple of passes together.
And here is the original pass that got it all started. Good underhanded throw. Again, just good disc movement upfield here by Bing. They're getting to the right places. They trust their cutters. The handlers at least trust their cutters in those situations there. And the pass there is complete.
Yep. Throwing those flicks into space, just making sure that their players have enough time to run onto it. These are very high-level throws, and Bing is making it look routine.
So 6-1, I believe, is the score now, as Bing leads Bernett. Lots of confidence here from the Bing side of things, and for Bernett, their offense has certainly gone cold after that first point they scored. They'll look to have some sort of response here.
Yeah, I would love to see Bernett make a couple more adjustments into their cutting lanes. We see a lot of stagnation going on, of not a lot of players moving or none at all. If they're able to just get one player who is a little bit more confident in the cutting, able to make a couple moves and get open under or deep, we can see a lot of good results that will be produced for Burnett's team. And right now, Bing is sort of just running the game away with huge throws and lots of athleticism. They definitely have a couple more legs right now, but the game is not over. Even though it is 6-1, these games can flip just as quick as they started. A couple breaks, a couple early turnovers by Bing, and Bernett could easily close a 5-gap lead and make it a 1 or 2 point game.
I think a lot of credit has to be given to Bing, though, because they've been moving the disc pretty well through their handlers.
Yeah, they're definitely a team playing way beyond their age right now. They're moving that disc, especially into the center. They are facilitating it to every single player. They're using the entire width of the field, which some teams even in the senior division aren't doing. So this team is playing way beyond their years.
And the speed that they're moving at, too. They're moving, as I made mention, they're moving it with quite a lot of speed downfield. And the handlers, they have no problem, especially on the Bing side of things, working with that sort of speed, getting the disc through to their cutters.
Yeah, that chemistry they have, they're just making sure that their players are going to get open even if they look covered. Those sort of passes can break open a team's defense so easily with just one pass, and Bing is really showcasing that right now.
And you've got to think, especially when the disc gets to, what we sort of call the red zone, when they have the short field to work with, Bing will do their best to find those chances to convert, and Bernett hasn't really had that same success, especially around the red zone.
Yeah, Bing is being very patient. They're moving that disc around, and that's sort of, once again, the maturity of this Bing squad. They're able to keep possession, look for the easier option. You can score in one pass and it can be a 50% chance, or you can score in maybe 5 or 6 and each pass is a 100%. And as a coach, you love to see a team just staying disciplined, moving that disc, and just looking for the easy shot.
I believe we have a timeout called on the field, because I know halftime was at the 45-minute mark.
I think that's the tournament director. They're telling the teams about the 45-minute half. So maybe they're thinking this is halftime right now. I don't think they thought what should have been halftime was halftime, so maybe they're doing it now.
6-1 the score. Bing leads over Bernett. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more Ultimate Action live from South Arm Park in Richmond. Your parlay is looking pretty good.
Are they leaving?
I'll start in half.
Weird. Is game over? Oh no, it's not game over. I see people put their backpacks on. Whoa.
Want to bang!
I think that's their senior. Check. Does everyone get turned down? Yeah.
Someone complained that your headset used to be bumped up. Okay. So that's why we bumped yours up.
Oh, like the audio.
The audio in general?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we can turn it down.
Yeah.
I'll turn it down more, but if it's too loud, let me know. I'll bump it up.
I think we were just coming out of I parlayed from it, but didn't make it.
All right, welcome back here inside South Arm Park in Richmond. 6-1 the score for Bing over Bernett, and a bit of a delayed halftime, I guess, later on, isn't it, Justin, considering we're at the 30-minute mark now of the game?
Yeah, these first tournaments, people are still sort of understanding what halftime is or when it starts, but come by provincials, everyone's going to be a pro.
And of course, provincials not too far away. You were telling me off air that provincials are in Kelowna this year.
Yes, club provincials are in Kelowna this year, which makes every single interior team or every single coast team have to sort of make that drive out. But it is a nice change of pace for all the teams who've maybe never been to Kelowna or are used to playing provincials in Surrey to just make the drive out and enjoy the beautiful views of Kelowna and the interior.
Well, it's like the BC Lions football team this year with the World Cup going on at BC Place. They will be playing a couple of their games actually up in Kelowna. So, it's an interesting situation there.
That's a lot of big guys that have traveled really far, and hopefully their fans are willing to make the drive out all the way to Kelowna.
I'm sure there's a lot of Lions fans up in Kelowna there to support as well. So we will see how provincials play out at the senior or at the the club level, I should say, at provincials in Kelowna. We're back to live action here as Byng currently leads Bernett by a score of 6-1. Maz hits played forward now to midfield. We hear the coaches being very vocal here for Byng, and I think that's a sign of a good coach. The fact that they're up by 5, but the coach still trying to coach the team to success. A great clap catch there. As Lee, number 23 for Byng, will look for options. He'll throw it back out to the far side. Good throw there upfield. Byng being a lot more calculated with their passes here to open up this next half. The clap catch is complete. Ends up back to the far side of the field.
And we're seeing Byng with a lot of steady handlers. A lot of their guys are willing to, go fight for the disc and are able to just distribute it quite well, actually.
A good pass attempt there, as that is incomplete. So Byng will now take possession once again.
Perhaps the Bernett handler.
Is this ultimate or is it volleyball? What a spike there to spike the disc down to thwart the pass opportunity.
Definitely a volleyball player right there. A multi-sport athlete for sure.
Yeah, you got to think she definitely plays volleyball as well with how she spiked that ball there, as the stall count was approaching its end and the clap catch there is incomplete. Of course, I believe that player is seeing field action for the first time here today for Bernett.
You're seeing Burnett's number 2 getting a little frustrated with the cutter, seeing no movement downfield.
And again, you talked about being stagnant. I think that's exactly what you were motioning at, as we have another completed pass there. It is 7-1 for Byng over Bernett.
Yeah, we are now really seeing the differences between the play styles here. Byng is able to just produce a lot of easy passes, able to swing that the disc around the field, while Bernett is sort of hoping for a bit more of a huck and pin game. They'll throw the disc far, maybe they'll get a couple easy grabs or lucky grabs, and trying to score in a few passes where Byng is able and willing to throw it around as many times as they can to score.
Of course, 9:18 local time here on a Sunday, as we'll see the coaching staffs talk things over between both of these teams, and we take a look at our bracket here. I believe the winner of this game will play at Field 6 at 11:30 local time, while the losing team of this game will play 11:30 local time at Field 8. They will play the losing team of Hamber versus Boyd, while the winner of this will play the winner of Hamber versus Boyd. So there will be, I think, great games all day long. And of course, for us, we will be doing the winner of the game between Point Grey and Semiahmoo, which is currently going on at Field 9, against the winner of McNeil versus Burnaby South. So we'll be doing the semifinals at that point there. And then, of course, the final for this tournament goes on at 2:30 local time here at Field 5, where the winner of the semifinal will play the winner of the other semifinal. So for at least one of these teams, we may not have seen the last of them here today.
Yeah, and with the way Bing is playing right now, it's sounding like they're going to make the finals. They're playing way beyond their years, and it's really difficult to say, however, just because junior teams, you don't know who's coming up from the elementary schools and who's going to be playing and who has experience, but this team is looking very strong right now, and I wouldn't be surprised to see them in the finals at all.
Rain is starting to pour down here at South Arm Park in Richmond. I mean, thankfully, we have a tent above our heads, so we are okay. But will that play a factor here, Justin, with these teams?
Yeah, even at the highest level, the rain does just sort of put that doubt in your head about how easy it is to make the catch. That disc is made out of plastic, so it does get a little bit slippery, so those easy one-handed grabs might turn into drops, and you might see a little bit more slipping on the field. Just a lot of factors you have to think about that sort of contribute to the overall result of the game.
I think another factor here is the fact that with the rain, I think with players, does it sort of, get them to play with a bit more caution, perhaps, not wanting to slip, because as we've seen far too many times, those joints sometimes, they definitely take the worst of it when slipping on a rainy field.
Yeah, if you're usually able to stop on the grass in maybe like 2 or 3 steps, when it rains, you do have to take a couple more steps. So the game does slow down a bit, but it does make for some interesting results.
Well, we shall see how the rain plays a factor here as we're back to live action. It is Bernett with possession of the disc, as she will look to take the disc. Forehand throw, and that is incomplete. We talk about volleyball players. Number 33 there on Bing, able to spike that one down. Stall count going on. Stall count gets to 5. Drop pass back, and that is complete. Having to go to the drop pass there. Good throw upfield. Gets out near the far sideline. As Bing going on, a light pass attempt, and again, those short passes incomplete. I was talking about it earlier on in the red zone. Bing looked very comfortable with their short passes, but when you're at midfield like that, having to make a play, looking for that desperation, sometimes it's a bit of miscommunication there with you and your teammates.
Yeah, and that was sort of what I was talking about. The rain can make those one-handed catches a little bit too hard, and being a bit too casual in the rain makes for some steady drops.
Here's a attempt, Bernett, to 1 score in today's game so far. 22 minutes remain on the game clock. Disc is thrown back out to the far sideline. Pass attempt up, it gets through.
And we're seeing the legs of Bing going right now. 76, who just played 3 minutes of hard defense, is now streaking downfield and getting this catch.
There's a catch, and a great catch with the left hand. Easy flip to the end zone, and that is caught. That all started with 2 passes ago. The great pass upfield finds the man near the end zone line who flips it forward, and an easy score there for Bing.
You're definitely seeing the legs play a factor in this game now.
Look at the replay right there as we'll see the pass attempt here. And that pass was able to get through. Great awareness. Finds the man near the end zone who flips it forward. And Bing will waste no time getting the score there. It is 8-1 now for Bing.
Yeah, Bing, just looking at the roster size now, Bing does have a couple more subs. And it seems that Bernett roster only has 2 or 3. So Bing is able to just run the game a bit more. They have more legs. They're able to play defense a bit tighter. And it's sort of showcasing in that they're just able to run deep and have a lot of open people as they're about to score every single time.
And, for this Bing team, in Ultimate at least, I think, I'm not sure how popular it is, but when you're up by a score of this margin, it sort of allows you to rest the players that you mainly run your offense through and give a lot more time to those who perhaps don't see as much time on the field.
Yeah, it's awesome to see the other people on the team starting to get some minutes too, letting them develop their skills. This is the junior division, so you just want to focus on development and see the entire program grow as a whole. So when they get to the senior division and they're fighting for that provincial banner, those reps that they had 3 or 4 years ago can sort of spur up into a provincial banner.
And so the Bing coaching staff still coaching on, and we'll see the coaches come over, or the Bing coaching staff talking to one of the personnel here. They'll come together, I guess, as as a self-officiated game here, you'll obviously have, people that look on the game, but they won't make, major calls. And correct me if I'm wrong, especially at provincials too. The only time we had officials looking on were in the championship games.
Yes, so especially in those championship games, the plays can get hotly contested. A lot of the players will be playing with their emotions, so it just helps to have a third party who's able to make calls regardless of their, team standing. And I think the coaches here are perhaps discussing the gender ratio. In the mixed division, they do switch genders every 2 points. So it'll be 4 male matching players and 3 female matching players for 1 point. And then they'll be switching to 4 females and 3 males matching players. And then it'll just rotate every 2 points.
And we'll see here that the teams, or at least the personnel, will make sure that the message is sent across to not just one team but both teams as well.
Yeah, as a coach, it's quite difficult to keep track of the gender ratio, especially when you have to keep track of the players and how tired they are and the score. So, thankless job and a lot harder than it seems.
8-1 the score here for Bing over Bernett as time continues to tick away, about 19 minutes from the completion of this one.
Let's go, Ty, go!
So, looks like Bing is ready to throw the disc and Bernett is ready to receive the pull there. We'll see the pull now from Bing.
And we do see number 2 on Bernett on the field again. I do not believe she's taken a single point off. This is the first game of a second day tournament, and she is absolutely playing her heart out right now.
Great pull there by Bing, and hey, I guess you can say attested to the love of the game for her. And she wants to do anything she can to help her team. And her team certainly needs the help here as they are down by 7. The pass there is incomplete. It will be Bing with possession of the disc. And the stall count is started. Here's a good chance to the end zone, and that is incomplete.
A lucky break there. I don't think he was being defended, and maybe just a miscommunication on the Bernett side, but a lucky break for them, and they're able to get offense again.
So Bernett will take over on offense. Of course, trying to get the disc downfield. It seems like, and it definitely feels like, they've spent a lot more time at their own end here as the disc is able to come back to midfield, but the pass attempt is incomplete. Bing will take it. Thrown back to the forehand. Good passes upfield here. Here's a huck to the end zone, and that is incomplete. They had a vision for what they wanted to do. Unfortunately, the elevation was not too high, as you see there. The pass was incomplete.
But great movement from that Bing school to push the disc from the close sideline all the way to the far sideline to just generate that opportunity for a score. And we see the Bernett number 2 signaling her team and trying to general them to
she'll move back to midfield, and that is incomplete as we see a player in a lot of discomfort here. Looks like the coaches will go on, and oh boy, this is not good. I'm not sure what necessarily happened there. It might have been bodies colliding when they were all fighting for the disc. We'll have a look at the replay, but he is in a lot of discomfort. Let's take a look at the replay here, Justin.
Ooh, maybe just getting kneed in the back.
That might have been the case, but the reaction, judging by his reaction, it was a bit of a delayed reaction by a couple of seconds, so it makes me think, did he pull a muscle or something?
Yeah, definitely maybe on the landing where maybe he thought there was more solid ground. He just stuck out his foot and maybe extended his back, but hopefully the player's okay. He does seem to be calming down a little bit more, so just hoping for his health.
Coaches will go up and have a look. We'll see what the call here, or rather we'll see if, what the coaches decide to do here. Of course, the biggest thing right now is making sure the player is okay, and he's certainly in a lot of discomfort as we speak.
Yeah, especially when this player has been playing a lot of points as well. When you get tired, your body doesn't move as the way it wants to. some routine movements start feeling a little bit sluggish, and that's all it takes to sort of get hurt. And this is a sport where you're playing for a long time or across 2 days, and we're just sort of glad to see him get up right now.
He's able to get up, but he is not putting any pressure on that right knee. So might not have even been the back. He might have, again, we talk about the joints. It might have been the knee, because he's not putting any pressure on that right leg as we speak. He'll be helped off the field, and just a tough situation. And from someone who has had knee injuries in the past, I can attest it is not good. Does not feel good at all.
Yes, going down the stairs, going up the stairs makes it a little bit harder.
Oh, definitely.
Your eyes start drifting to the elevator a bit more, and those up and down buttons seem a lot more tempting when you have a knee injury when you don't.
So hopefully he'll be okay. He'll be taken back to the tent with about 14 minutes on the clock.
Seems that Bernett has subbed a player onto the field, and I think we'll see play resume soon.
A reminder, Friction gloves are designed to improve your throws and catches in any weather. Elevate your game at frictiongloves.com.
This would be a perfect game to have Friction gloves right now. A little bit rainy, so the players think their throws are going to be the same, but just a little bit of rain on the disc causes the disc to slip and, can cause a couple errant turns.
I do see a couple of Bing players with gloves on.
Yeah, I see one player with the gloves on. I don't know if those are
Friction gloves.
Those look like old Friction gloves, but those might just be gardening gloves, which do provide a little bit of friction, but sometimes they slip off.
So teams deciding who the disc will go to here. We do think it's going to be Bernett disc. Still awaiting to resume play here in this one with 13:15 on the clock.
You sort of see number 2 on Bernett telling everyone where to go in. I think she might be right, and I think it might go to Bernett. Oh, yeah, she is giving instructions, so awesome that she knows the rules well enough to, sort of teach everyone on the field.
Here we go, back to live action here. It is Bernett disc at center field, and she'll receive the disc here just past the center line. Fakes the throw there as she had the disc on her left hand, faked it with her right hand. She'll throw it to the end zone, but that is going to be incomplete as no one was there to receive the pass. And I know it can be, as a handler, it can be frustrating knowing, you tell your cutters to get to a certain place, but not everyone can get to that certain place in the right amount of time.
Yeah, the most frustrating thing as a handler is just seeing that stagnation on the field. You want someone to move for you, but nothing's happening. Even one player moving would be enough, but big hand block by Bernett there.
Yeah, great block there by Bernett as they're now back at that red zone. We talked about being so pivotal, and this is perhaps Bernett's best chance to score here since their first point. As they'll have the disc at the end zone, it's flipped forward, and that is caught. And you can see there number 2 throwing it down in not necessarily an angry way, but in a sigh of relief perhaps, as the score is complete, and Bernett has their second point on the board.
Yeah, it seems sort of like a set play there. All 6 players were stacked in the end zone. We'll see a replay of it here. They all cut to the open side, and then number 2 has been doing a lot of heavy lifting. Cuts to the break side there, and is able to just sort of get open, and a big spike to boot, passionate about scoring that, hoping to, spark some energy in her team.
And so it's a 6-point game here with 11:22 to go. The score cap obviously is 13 and the time cap is 75 minutes. It is a hard cap. And, with Big scoring the way that they are, they'll look to counter here and make it a 7-point deficit, a 7-point differential once again between these two teams. But you've got to think, especially after the first half that Bing had, Bernett has definitely had a bit of a stronger half here in the second half than their first half.
Yeah, we see them moving the disc a little bit more. We're seeing more movement downfield, and while sometimes it does not connect, just sort of those first couple motions from the cutters are able to sort of spark something good. If they're able to just string together a couple more passes and move that disc around a bit more, this Bernett squad could be pretty feared in the coming months for the school season.
course, school season still going on for another couple months, as is school going on for another couple months. Sometimes the year just flies by. You don't realize when it starts, and you know, when it does end up ending for the school year, I know for myself, it's you know, it's definitely a sad time at the end of the school year because you miss all your friends for the summer, but getting to enjoy some time away is always a great privilege.
Mm-hmm. And for a lot of these players, ultimate frisbee sometimes is their final sport they play in school. So especially if they get pretty close to your banner or have a good season, it's just kind of a nice send-off for them to sort of finish their grade out.
Oh, very much, especially at the senior level too, finishing your high school career with a banner. And, well, I know in high schools they like to hang banners up in the gym, so anytime you go back and, you know, let's say you go back to your school maybe 10, 15 years later, you get to see that, hey, I did that all those years ago.
Yes, unfortunately, in my years, I've never come close. I have won cities one time, but closest I've ever come to winning provincial banners was third in my last year of playing for Point Grey.
Well, I know they have city championship banners up at certain schools too.
Yeah, unfortunately, that was before Ultimate was actually a
sanctioned
sport.
Wow.
Yes. So I didn't even get anything from it.
Oh, man.
I got a medal that I don't know if I have anymore.
somewhere sitting at home.
Somewhere. Hopefully it's still somewhere around. Definitely dusty.
And no, I remember from my high school days too, you know, seeing all those banners up in the stands, and I haven't gone back to my high school actually since I graduated, so I think that it's time I make a trip out there to see what things are like. Say hi to some of the old teachers again.
And you went to?
David Thompson.
David Thompson, shout out. You are also in this tournament. Hopefully we'll commentate one of your games.
Here's a pass and a great pass reception there. Throw to the end zone. Oh, a drop pass.
And that's that rain probably taking a bit of a factor. I think she slipped, and maybe if there was no rain, she was able to catch that.
Oh, that was a great chance there. Just incomplete for Bing to make it a 7-score game once again. A long huck back out to center field, and that is intercepted as Bing is able to spike it down. And this stays a score of 8-2 as we speak. Bing will move the disc back out to the near sideline. Great passes up ahead. The one-handed attempt there is incomplete.
Yeah, whenever the disc is in the air, we just see a couple more Bing bodies getting under it, which just gives them a higher chance to either get the D or get the catch.
We'll see the disc now back into the hands here of Bernett as the stall count going on.
And we're seeing a little bit more movement from the cutters now, which is good for that Bernett squad, but
long throw up ahead, and that is intercepted by number 3 of Bing. And to your point, the cutters definitely making themselves more available on field now for the handlers to get a proper pass away. Here's a chance, and there she is once again, number 2 from Bernett. Number 2 from Bernett there, able to spike the disc down and nullify any scoring opportunities. She'll try the huck back out to center field, and Bing saying anything you can do, I can do better, as they respond with a spike of their own. Long huck back down to the other end of the field, and this one's going to go out of play, and it will be incomplete.
Sort of like a tennis match, just goes back and forth and back and forth. But back into the hands of Burnett's number 2, pointing where it's going to go on the sideline. And I would just love to see a bit more movement to the middle of the field. Just generate easier opportunities for her team.
And with it being a 6-point game as it is, you got to think that Bernett will now need at least a point per minute here to try and tie this game up. But Bing certainly doing a great job at moving the disc upfield, and that is caught. A great catch reception and another score here for Bing, as they'll now lead 9-2 with 6:03 to go.
Yeah, just an absolutely beautiful throw by number 33. Able to get it from half field all the way to the back corner of the end zone. And we'll see a replay of it soon, but
as you see there, just a great huck all the way downfield.
Able to just move it into the middle of the field. He sees one of his players streaking deep and just able to float it perfectly into the back right of the end zone there.
And not even much effort needed on that throw there either. Just a great pass. He knew where he wanted to get the disc and able to just throw it with the forehand. And 9-2 now the score here.
good players make hard plays look effortless, and 33 is sort of doing a great job of that right now.
As I mentioned, time certainly becoming a factor with the hard cap approaching not too long from now. And unless a miracle happens, Justin, I think it's safe to say that Bing will be moving on to the semifinals of the bracket.
A very strong performance by them, and they're definitely going to use this energy to maybe plow through semis, and maybe we'll be commentating their game again in the finals.
We'll see if the bracket is updated yet. I don't believe it is, but they will be playing the semifinals. And we won't be doing their semifinal game, as that will be on field number 6. We will be doing the winner between Point Grey and Semiahmoo, as they will take on the winner of McNeil and Burnaby South, as previously mentioned.
And Burnaby South sort of just having a run-up with their programs recently. Not very strong in 6 or 7 years ago, but now they are definitely a lot stronger with their senior team being led by Jaden McCready and others, and their Burnaby South team sort of being produced and getting stronger as well. It all starts from the junior teams, and if they're able to keep playing Ultimate together, maybe string it together a couple club seasons, come senior division, they'll be a lot stronger as well.
Well, I know our next game is a Senior B game. We will be doing Delta taking on Killarney, and that is going to be a quarterfinal as well. Of course, at the senior level, basically the same rules, but the major difference is that there is zone defense. You can have zone defense, and foot blocks are allowed as well.
Yeah, we're definitely going to see a lot of zone defense today, which will maybe be a handler showcase game if they're able to produce enough passes to break through the zone, able to swing it around and find gaps in the mid for, easy offense.
So Bing will begin, but not enough swing, I guess, on the pole there. As this is easy chance now for Bernett to try and get something going. Had it been a much closer game, I'm sure the coach would have probably not been too thrilled with that pull there. And now Bernett will throw it to the end zone. It's flipped forward, and that is incomplete. Dare I say, a missed opportunity there for Bernett.
Now Bing is back on offense here, and let's see if they're going to string together some short passes or they're going to go for one big huck down the field.
And so the passes end up down to center field, but the pass is incomplete. So we will see Bernett retaking possession of the disc as it comes back off the sideline. A forehand throw is back and complete at center field. It's moved back out to the far side.
And Burnett's number 2 is going every other. She'll pass the disc, and then her teammates will look right back for her. Once again, it's the steady hands.
Steady hands indeed. The forehand throw, and that is incomplete. It stayed just inside the sideline, but the pass was incomplete as they couldn't complete the throw, so it stays, at least for now, a 9-2 lead for Bing with 2 minutes approaching on the clock.
And while an incomplete throw, that's a very high-level throw, able to put it into the space and just keep it right in bounds. Maybe a bit slower and the receiver was able to get it, but a good high-level throw there.
Pass comes back out, and that is spiked back down as Bernett will take over on offense.
Let's see what Burnett's cooking up here. We're going to see a little bit of a stack in the end zone here.
Yeah, they're setting play for sure. The quarterback here, number 2, trying to get her cutters to the place where they want to be. And what a play there by number 2 as she told her cutters she signaled for them to be on the left side, but I think secretly they knew that the cutters were going to be on the opposite side of the disc. So it ends up as a complete point, 10-3 or 9-3 now for Bing over Bernett.
Yeah, just pointing to that left side. If a cutter makes a couple hard steps there, the defender has to react to that. And they're able to take 2 hard steps in the other direction, just able to get open on the open side. And that's just good Frisbee at the end of the day. Solid hard cuts and really good throws create good offense.
I think you could tell there that the Bernett cutter, at least the second Bernett cutter there, the one wearing the gray T-shirt, no one had a clue where he was going to go. And that allowed for number 2 on Bernett to set up a perfectly timed pass to the end zone, and the short pass gets completed there. with about 30 seconds remaining before the hard cap.
And while there may not be enough time for Bernett to, close the gap and maybe win this game, what it does show is that they are able to, they have their tools to be a good team. They're cutting hard. They have a good handler in number 2. With a couple more reps, a couple more weeks of practice, they're able to get their systems down. I believe that they'll be a strong team in the future.
And of course, their game is not over yet, or their day is not over yet. They will take on the team that lost the game between Hamber and Boyd. And their next game will be at Field 8, 11:30 local time. So they have a couple hours to kind of regroup themselves, maybe get hydrated, have some time to maybe eat and get ready for their next game.
Yeah, this is a very long day for the athletes. I can't imagine doing this anymore, but 3 games in a day, you're out in the sun, or I guess the rain now, for 6 to 8 hours a day. And it can take a toll on your body, so these athletes need to stay hydrated, they need to fuel up, and they need to take rest when they can.
So by our calculations, we are at hard cap, but they may just try and complete the point. But I think that's what will happen. They will complete the point here before we head to the end of this one. Bernett with the pull, as that disc will go all the way downfield. A great throw ends up out to the near sideline, and Bing will try and seal this one with a point here for good measure. Great pass. And now to the end zone. It is thrown, and that is incomplete, as Bernett will now take over.
That might have been the most beautiful play I've seen yet today. A nice hammer, perhaps a scooper to number 33, who was able to just almost get the completing pass to number 11 there.
So the pass ends up back out to the far side of the field. And it's thrown back now from the sideline, as that is caught with a clap catch. Bernett looking to certainly move the disc up the field. They'll look to try and move it with pace. A long huck back down to the far side, and that is incomplete. It is going to be Bing's possession with the disc here.
A great pass, but just right out of the hands of the girl with the white shirt and back in Bing hands.
And it's thrown forward now to the center line. That gets through, as Bing trying to move the disc out. Both teams are trying to get the game's last point here, but those jitters still, I guess now it's more so jitters on, can we wrap this up?
Maybe that hammer worked the first time, but not quite the second time there. But we do see 23 and 33 sort of running the show for Bing's offense right now.
So a perfect timed pass there, but that is incomplete as it's unable to be caught near the far sideline.
It's out of the hands of the Bernett player there and back into the hands of number 33 on Bing.
So now Bing will take possession near the far sideline. Great swing back to center field. A drop pass there by number 29. I believe that's Ho on Bing.
Just sort of looking for the next pass there. Just got to secure that first one before looking for the next one there, but definitely wishes he could have that one back.
And so a long huck there to the end zone. This one's got a chance, and it is incomplete. So we'll see now Bing getting their chance. Back and forth we go. Points seeming hard to come by here in the second half, at least, for both of these teams. Especially this last sequence. Great drop pass there by Bing. Stall counts going on.
Great undercut by number 33 there to just generate a lot of yards.
As this one's thrown back to the center field. They'll look to find an open lane. A good throw there. Ends up to the end zone, and that is caught. What a play by Bing to put a wrap on this one. As that one off a perfectly timed pass is thrown forward to the end zone. Great reception there. And this one at least will end in a 10-3 final score for Bing over Bernett.
And a great hammer, a high-level throw there. Sort of cocking the shoulder back and letting it rip, and 33 was able to come down with it. Well-timed throw, well-timed cut, and what more can you ask for as a coach?
Bing ends up moving on to the semifinals, as it looks like we do have the winner of the game on field number 45. It was a 13-3 win for Hamber over Boyd. So we will see a semifinal here of Bing and Hamber at field 6. That will be 11:30 local time. Of course, we won't be streaming that one here because we will be streaming the game on Field 5. And we'll await the winner of that one there. But before we put a bow on this one, Justin, your overall thoughts on the performance from Bing here today?
Bing had great handler movement, great cutter movement, and they're definitely a force to be reckoned with for this tournament. So who knows who's going to win between Hamburg and Bing, but whoever comes out of that, boxing match will definitely be a favorite for the finals.
And again, folks, our first of 6 games we are streaming here today on Trick Shot as Bing defeats Bernett by a 10-3 final score. On behalf of my incredible crew here, we have Matthew doing camera, Theo in the producer's chair, joined by Mr. Justin Luna on color. This is your Garage Lolly saying so long. This has been the 2026 Rain Invite presented by Vancouver Ultimate. Start playing today at VUL.ca. Special thanks to VC Ultimate and the City of Richmond for helping make today happen. And we'll talk to you again very soon as we bring you the Senior B quarterfinal between Delta and Killarney with a 10 o'clock local time start time. We'll see you soon here from South Arm Park in Richmond.
Actually, let me see. They're spelled, I think they spelled it wrong. It's K-I-L-L-A-R-N-E-Y.
Thank you.
Oh, we have a dog.
Alright, you want to interview the dog?
Yeah, should I interview the dog? Remember?
I think it's a flashback time.
Yeah. Hi. What's going on? How's it going? You guys play? I know you played Ultimate.
Yeah, I didn't know you.
Broadcast?
Yeah, broadcast is Ultimate.
Yeah, we're doing the games on Field 5 all day.
Yeah, that's all. Next year we're playing here.
You guys are playing here, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
What do you have to say about Ultimate?
There's crap that I've done. It's just like rules and all that sort of stuff. I did it last year. I did provincials last year at the club level. I did provincials and then I did Vortex Cup, I think it was called, at the club level. So this year we're doing this tournament and hopefully many more in the summer.
Do you have anything about our team?
I don't have any prep. I mean, I have names. That's about it. Yeah, I will.
We swept every team yesterday. We got 13-0 twice.
Yeah, I think in the tournament, like it says that here. My high school. Yeah, my high school's playing too. They're David Thompson. But
You had it.
I went to DT. Yeah,
Yeah, we played them.
swept them 13-0. Easy man.
Because we have a team. But I was wondering what's the link for this?
It's on YouTube.
Okay.
I can. Yeah, I'll send it to you. Do we want to move the tent this way too?
No, I just need to fit the camera.
Fit the camera in?
Camera guy in so it doesn't suffer in the rain.
Do you want to move the table?
No players are going to be allowed on the white line.
Have a good game, man.
As well as Is this the live stream?
Yeah.
That's pretty sweet. Cameras right there. Coaches are allowed to have
Good first game?
Yeah, good. There's no rain.
I don't know, but I have to move the camera guy in.
Yeah. Get him a bit more comfortable. Dude, the dog's winning everyone over.
That's what I said, Jack,
I should interview the dog, right?
it's calling for you.
I know. The dog wants me to interview him.
I mean, we're all great. I don't think it matters. Yeah. If we end up going to Hawaii.
Dude, the dog's calling. You need to interview.
Wait.
Remember Chris Cannon? The dog interview?
Simba, do you want to get interviewed? Simba.
He's excited.
Simba.
Hey, Simba, you want to get interviewed?
Yeah.
Do you remember when Chris Cannon got interviewed the dog last year?
Oh yeah, all you hear is
That was what you had to say.
That's crazy.
Simba, what are your thoughts on the Iran and United States war?
Here,
Simba.
on the camera.
Simba, what are your thoughts on the war?
he wants treats. How's the games going so far? How's the commentating?
It was good.
Yeah?
You know, I did provincials and Vortex Cup last year, so that was kind of my first taste of getting Ultimate done, and I'm happy to be back this year. It helps when you have a guy like Dustin working alongside you. Knows a lot about the game and corrects me when I'm wrong. So
No, I was listening over there. Y'all have great banter.
yeah, we like
Going
going
at
back
it.
and forth here.
It's great.
Here and there. It's nice to have someone who knows the game, and of course we've worked together last year too, so
It's good.
helps that. And at least it's not Chris Cannon, so that's right.
Oh, he's told me all about that.
Yeah, Chris Cannon's interesting.
It's something, that's for sure.
Something. He's an item.
Oh yes. Truly,
kind of
truly
item.
something.
Yeah, you should. I don't know if can they hear audio.
Oh shit, they can hear
No.
us. Are you Luna?
Oh,
I'm not
Luna
Luna.
is
Oh,
the
he's
guy
on the
that sits
ram.
over there.
Sorry.
Dude, we're not live.
Are you
we?
looking for him?
We are live, but I don't think
I'll
they
tell
can
him
hear
to. What's your name? I'll tell him to
Oh,
find you.
well, they can't
Sorry?
hear my mic because when you turn
Dominic,
this
I'll
on,
tell him to find you once he comes back.
it. Well, should be fast point.
dude, don't scare me like that.
No.
dude.
You're fine.
They can hear somewhat. Somewhat picked up.
The audio.
Yeah.
Oh, it was really quick when I was watching.
Yeah.
If that means anything, I don't know on stream or like.
No, I was talking about they can pick up our audio right now. Oh man. Yeah, it's okay. We only had like 15 views in our first game.
Usually, I think end of the game is more views, and also like afterwards. Because I look back at the one from last year, something like
Oh,
a
100%.
couple thousand views.
100%.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I moved you in here. I tested it out. Anyway, if you want to give it a shot to see if anything needs to be adjusted, I readjusted your monitor.
Our live stream on YouTube is only 3 minutes and 42 seconds.
No, so my phone got disconnected on the
Oh,
hotspot, so I cut off the first one, but it ended up being on the second.
Second one?
Yeah, so the second link was game one and game two.
YouTube? Oh,
Yeah.
there you go.
Shut up, sounds out of country, and then YouTube blocked him, thinking he's hacking.
Hacking?
So he can't change it until Shahan is available.
Oh man.
He tried to give me access, but he's
Is
out of
Shahan in
country.
the States too? though?
Yes, it was. So currently game 1 and 2 is in the same screen. Don't worry, it is streamed. It's stuck on the game.
Let me know if y'all need coffee or tea or anything. I can always
Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.
If it's stuck here.
Yeah. Hey, my parlay comment made it to the stream.
Oh no! I noticed like right after you said that, you're like, "What's more?" I was like, "Did anybody hear it?"
I don't think so. I don't think anyone heard it. I mean, even if they did, they don't know what context we're talking about.
I think it was bad.
Yeah, could have just been my normal
Kind of just been your normal parlay. Like, hey, your UFC.
Premier League.
Your
Premier
UFC.
League. Yeah.
Hey, Premier League. There was UFC last night.
Yeah.
I don't know. Growing pains.
I don't know what that means, so.
Hey, not everyone knows what it means. So.
Well,
Oh, I'm cold.
My old physio guy worked for like the lacrosse league, like the pro one.
NLL, yeah.
He's already had a friend that worked. He's a physio guy. He's like, yeah, like you know who's injured and who's not. And the lines, it's not clear enough. The
nice adjust.
Yeah.
It's like a team could go into a game, best team in the league, missing their best 3 players, and have like insane odds.
Really?
Nobody knows.
Hi, Mia.
He's like,
Is it?
you might not want to be telling him.
Yeah, hey. So I want to calm down a bit
Yeah.
around that.
You have to find a new side. I feel like I really got the hang of it like at the end.
Does that mean game on? Yep. All right, let's start the time.
It's actually like really cool. It was like play-by-play opportunities and stuff like that.
Oh, 100%. It's good to kind of help promote the game as much as we can.
Yeah, it's like it gives you that you actually practice in like a professional setting. It's like,
100%. What? Is it tape it?
yeah. Oh, you think they're good. Yeah. No, this monitor? No.
Like the actual thing.
Shall we?
We're on D. We're pulling.
Dude, these guys are good. 13 to 2.
Yeah, I don't know why they're in B there, because I'm pretty sure they made semifinals with like 2 times 13 nothing. Yeah, I don't know why they're here. I'm pretty sure they made provincial semis last year. But I don't know. Pretty sure they did. Pretty sure they went on a crazy run.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to South Arm Park in Richmond, British Columbia, on the traditional, ancestral, and unceded territories of the Musqueam peoples. You're watching the 2026 Rain Invite presented by Vancouver Ultimate. Jagraj Lully joined alongside Justin Luna. We have Theo in the producer's chair, Matthew doing the great work on camera. On behalf of Trickshaw, we'd like to welcome you to this tournament. Game 2 of our 6-game schedule here today. This one in the Senior B division. It's a quarterfinal matchup between Delta and Killarney. Delta, of course, playing out of the Ladner area. Killarney playing on 49th and Killarney Street in Vancouver, a school I'm very familiar with as well, having gone just down the block to David Thompson Secondary. Justin, we talked about this before, but some of the top school programs are here today. They're ready to compete at a high level. With this matchup, Delta coming off of 2 victories yesterday. They played 3 games. All 3 of the games they played in, they scored 13 each time. Now, if you look at Killarney, they lost to Palmer 8-6. They lost to Bing by a 9-6 score, and they lost to Mosscrop by a 12-6 score. So really, statistically, a battle of David versus Goliath here.
Yes. This Delta squad, scoring 13 points showcases a couple things. Not only are they quite a strong team, but also that they're able to score quite quickly in these shorter time cap games.
So Delta, a very strong team in their own right. Killarney are looking to complete the upset here. Of course, Delta was receiving the pull to begin this game, and we will be off and underway as the ball ends up, or the disc ends up at the far side. In the corner, it's thrown forward. Great flip there. Ends up back out to the far side. As we'll see Delta move the disc up well. Here's Roberts. We'll throw it back out to center field. A great huck all the way down to the other end, and that is caught. Paisley McGill with the catch, and she'll throw it to the end zone, and that is complete. All it took is a matter of mere seconds for Delta to open the scoring. As a great reception there, and Delta's up 1-0.
Yeah, and a little bit of a difference between the last game we commentated and this game is, first of all, the size of these athletes. Some of these guys are taller than me, and I'm like 6 years older than some of them, but they're tall, and they're able to just throw the disc a lot further. They're a lot more confident with the disc, and this is going to be a good game.
And I know number 4 on Delta, Paisley, I know her very well because she works with me producing hockey broadcasts throughout the duration of the hockey season. and she's been doing that ever since she was in grade 9 or grade 10.
Oh.
She started at a very young age. So you talk about work ethic.
Yes.
Paisley is the pure epitome of work ethic with the work that she puts in, not just outside of school and now here at school, being on the ultimate team as well. So a great start for Delta. They are up 1-0. And not much time it took for this Delta team to get to the end zone. And, you know, we talk about their scores, scoring 13 points each game that they played so far at this tournament. This is a very good school, to put it that way.
Yeah, I believe that Delta also made the semifinals of provincials last year, so they went on sort of a Cinderella run, giving Templeton a run for their money, and they have showcased that they're still quite strong in this tournament, not only scoring 13 points in all of their games, but also keeping 2 teams to 0 points and letting Bernett only score 2. So right now, if you add up all these scores, they are collectively 39-2, and they probably don't know what it's like to get scored on that much.
Well, they also blanked my alma mater, David Thompson Secondary, by a score of 13-0. So hey, if you gotta lose to the best, you know, it should be the team that is, you know, their plus minus differential is that much. As we'll see, Killarney going offense here, and a great block there by number 3 of Delta, as she's able to get up and throw the disc down. A long huck heading towards the end zone, and that is caught. A great catch off the long huck, and Delta is buzzing early on. It is 2-0.
And that is the second time that number 2 has launched an incredible huck to one of their players in the end zone. Not only are they able to move the disc fast off a turn, but they're able to get streakers downfield that are able to just, you know, big in the end zone and able to bring it down.
Take a look at the replay right here. Just a great defensive effort there by Delta, and they waste no time immediately turning it into offense. Good long huck all the way down to the other end of the field, and a great catch there by the Delta team as they're up by 2 already. That is quick, to say the least, Justin.
Yes, and one of the main differences we're seeing already in this game defensively is that Delta is putting on a little bit of a cup zone, which means there are 3 people surrounding the person with the disc, 3 in the mids, and 1 in the deep. Cup zones aren't allowed in juniors just because it sort of stunts the growth of throwing, but in the senior division, all rules are allowed, and we're already seeing this cup put a lot of pressure on this Killarney offense.
So 2-0 the score here for Delta, as, of course, this the second of our 6-game slate here today. We just did the junior quarterfinals before this, and we'll do the junior semifinals after this. This is actually the only senior B game that we're doing today.
Yeah, and what a treat we are if this is the only game we're seeing a very dominant performance out of last year's. I'm almost confirming it now that they were the semifinalists in last year's provincials.
Well, I'm sure those facts aren't necessarily gate kept, so you can find a way to confirm your questions there. Back to live action as Killarney has possession at their own end of the field. A great defensive play there by number 88 of Delta, who immediately thwarts the passing attempt. He'll look to bring it upfield. A one-handed pass is complete to number 22. She'll drop it back to number 88. Long flip, a huck to the end zone, and that is incomplete. Almost had the two-handed catch through. We'll take a look at the replay right here. A long huck right to the end zone. He had initially caught it with both hands, but just couldn't settle down the disc, whether it due to the the slippery conditions perhaps, but it stays a 2-0 score. As we'll see Killarney move the disc at their own red zone there, their own end here. And almost an interception at a dangerous area. And look at the stifling defense by Delta. They're not allowing any time and space for Killarney to work with, keeping them back to the end zone. This is incredible defense here by Delta. Killarney just can't get out of the corner as we speak. Great coverage there by Delta. As they're still at the corner, the disc is now flipped forward. Near the near corner, a swing out to the far side of the field. Looking for a pass attempt and ends up back out to the far side. Watch number 88 for Killarney behind the defense. It's flipped forward. Great passes near to the end zone, and that is caught She'll take the steps, but still needs to get it into the end zone. And that is caught. It's sent through. Another pass attempt, and that is incomplete. Boy, oh boy, it's just a great defensive sequence there by Delta.
Yeah, Killarney was able to make a couple breakthrough passes, but the disciplined defense of Delta was really strong there.
Here's number 9 to number 88. A long huck back down to the end zone, and that is caught back, but they're unable to complete the pass there. And we'll see Killarney try and move the disc back upfield. As Delta, again, doing a great job playing man coverage. Unable to get that pass through there. It ends up back out to the far side. It's sent back to number 29, now to number 22 of Killarney. Great pass. Here's number 14. 14 to 22 for Killarney. Killarney's number 22 has possession at the near sideline. Will drop that one back. Moves it back out to the near sideline. We'll try the hammer throw. As the disc is dropped back to number 22. Good flip there. Thrown back to center field, but the pass is incomplete. Delta will take over. What a layout! Incredible interception there. He was flying like Bobby Orr back in the 70s. A great flip to the end zone, and that is caught. Killarney is on the board off of a great layout interception, and they're able to get it through to the end zone.
The huge defensive layout and score, that's what we call bookends in Ultimate, starting off the offense and finishing the offense as well. We'll see another replay of it here.
I mean, look at that flying layout. What a great interception there. And that'll be a highlight he watches back for sure.
That was an incredible play there. The peace of mind to not only get the disc, but able to get up, quickly move the disc to, and score just as fast. That is a high IQ play by that Killarney player.
Of course, we shall remind you that games in this tournament are played to 13 points. No win by 2. Hard caps at 75 minutes. And in a hard cap situation, they would finish the current point, and then the game would end. Halftime, of course, that's 7 points or the 45-minute mark. And there is a 5-minute halftime break. Of course, as opposed to the junior level here, Justin, you are allowed zone defense, and you are also allowed foot blocks, which plays a difference for sure.
Yeah, we're seeing Delta put on a really stifling zone here. While it is not generating that many turns initially, it is slowing down Killarney's offense. And sometimes speed kills, and if Killarney is able to break past that zone, sometimes they're playing a bit too fast and aren't able to convert right away. But that Delta zone is very established, very strong, and they know each person in each position knows exactly what they're doing there.
As the day goes on, the weather will only continue to warm up as it's currently now a 2-1 lead for Delta. And Delta came out of the gates flying. They looked like it was going to be another dominating performance for them. And keep in mind, this Delta team have only allowed 2 goals the entire tournament so far. The other times they've blanked their opponents 13-0. And, well, for Killarney getting on the board, I think that's a huge step for their confidence going forward in this matchup.
Yes, this Delta squad has only been scored on twice. So they maybe have not had teams that have been able to make that adjustment to their huck game. And it seems that Killarney was able to sort of very quickly make that defensive change. Maybe send a couple players a little bit further back, protecting the house, and making sure that Delta does need to focus on a couple more underthrows before scoring.
So we'll see Killarney take the pull here, and when it comes to timeouts, especially there's 1 timeout per half. Of course, not the timeouts you see normally, or not the coaches' huddles that you see after a score. There's 1 timeout per half. There's also 1 floater timeout, and no timeouts during cap time. So, timeouts are limited. And, in this case, if this stays a close game, once we hit cap, teams have to simply play it out.
Yeah, that's when coaches have to rely on their players' intuition and the practices they've had leading up to this tournament, knowing that they can trust the players to make the on-the-fly adjustments that will surely put their team in a chance to win.
And, we talked about, when it comes to the style of Ultimate that teams want to play, I think, in this Delta team's identity so far. They are a team that likes to play a fast style of ultimate. When it comes to the set plays, they necessarily know where they want their cutters to be. The handlers know where they want their cutters to be to get the disc to them at the right time. And I think that's what you'll continue to see out of this Delta team, that set offense, but at the same time playing a fast-paced style of ultimate.
Yeah, they're definitely bigger than the Killarney team, so they're going to use that height and size to their advantage, putting that deep high into the end zone and just hoping to come down with it. Versus this Killarney team, a little bit smaller. They're going to try to use their speed and shorter throws to get open on the unders.
All right, we're back to live action. There is the pull, and it will come all the way back here to the Delta end zone. Pass is incomplete, a turnover, and Killarney will have a chance here to tie this game up at 2. And a uncharacter-like turnover there for the Delta Pacers. As here we'll see Killarney with a throw and a turnover from Killarney, so Delta gets the disc right back. You'll take that if you're the Pacers and your head coach.
Yeah, sort of a lucky break there for the Delta squad.
Pass is complete near the far sideline. Here's the huck thrown on the other hand. What a one-handed catch. Incredible catch there near the far sideline. This one's to the end zone. It's got a chance, and it is incomplete.
Just a bit over the head of the Delta receiver there, but an incredible catch by 17 with the pressure on the back to sort of secure that grab and then look for a good option there in the end zone.
And secure it with one hand, too. That was a great catch there near the far sideline. And so we'll see here Killarney bring in the disc. It went all the way out to the far side of the field, the right end zone. And of course, as we talked about, zone defense is allowed. So you'll see Delta set up here in that zone. And they will begin the count.
Seems like they're discussing where the end zone line is, and now it's tapped in.
There we go. The count will begin. Disc is swung back out to the far side. Sort of long throw back to the center line, and that is caught. A great two-handed catch.
Oh, seems like maybe it was out of bounds there.
Yeah, it might have been out of bounds. Long huck back the other way, and it's caught. Great two-handed catch near the end zone. Thrown to the end zone, and that is good. 3-1 now for Delta. As the disc went out of bounds, it was turned over by Killarney. Delta immediately off the change of possession, able to get the huck through to the end zone. Couple more short passes at the red zone, and we have a 3-1 lead for Delta.
And sort of like the previous game, we're seeing Delta have runners every single time the disc turns over. They're playing that really fast-paced ultimate that I love to watch and love to coach. Use your numbers to your advantage. If you can get a huck down and you have 3 or 4 players streaking, beat them with their speed, and just hope you can, find an easy pass into the end zone. And that's exactly what they did on that last score.
So 3-1 now the score here for Delta over Killarney. As for this Delta team we talked about, they were able to score on their first possession, I believe, a quick huck down the other way, and now they're up by a score of 3-1. So we'll see how that continues to, the lead continues to factor in here for the Delta Pacers.
Yeah, while we didn't see the other games from Delta previously, they are definitely having to play a little bit more defense in the previous games, going 13-0, 13-0, 13-2. We've seen them, bleed a little bit. That first little pass they had where they dropped it and Killarney had a really good chance to get a break there was fortunately gone back into the hands of the Delta team. So they are facing a little bit more pressure than the previous day, and let's see if they're able to, beat that pressure and score and win this game, or if they're going to sort of succumb to that.
One thing we also talked about last matchup, Justin, is the fact that, especially in sanctioned tournaments like this, players have to represent their own schools. There are no pickups. And, it's safe to say that these are true school teams. There's no outside additions, just built-in chemistry between these players. Killarney will move the disc back out to the near side. Stays in play. Moved out. Great swings here from Killarney as they'll try and move it back to center field. It's thrown back. Great one-handed throw. Ends up back out to the near side. Sent out to the far side of the field. Moved across out to the far sideline. As you'll see there, 22 for Killarney. Swings it back out to the near side. Here's number 18. Moves it back to number 5. Swung back across out to the far side. It'll come back to number 18. He'll move it back to 85 for Killarney.
And we are seeing Killarney use their speed and use that disc speed as well to sort of,
And that is intercepted. A commentator's curse there perhaps from you, Justin. I'm sure the Killarney fans can forgive you for that.
Speed kills. Speed kills.
Number 23, Wilson, will try and throw it to the end zone, and that is caught. Great catch by number 27 for Delta, who now lead 4-1.
I'd love to see this Killarney team make a couple more adjustments on defense there, especially off a turnover. They need to be able to find their person quicker and being able to lock them down. Delta is absolutely running the show on these turnovers. We'll see it right here. Number 23 picks up the disc. Delta players are already running deep into the end zone, and just one pass, and that's a score.
What awareness there. And I mean, when, as a handler too, you have to be aware of what sort of angle you can throw your disc at, which will, it will angle a certain way that your cutters know, okay, this is where the disc is going to land. I have to make myself available. That's exactly what Delta did there.
Yeah, these Delta players know how to read the disc. They see that angle, and they're just coming down with it a little bit better than the Killarney players right now. This is definitely a school that, definitely plays together a lot. They've played together for a couple years now because they are in the senior level, so they've maybe played together 3-4 years together, and it shows. They know exactly what each other are doing. They know who the receivers are, who the throwers are. They see number 2-3 pick up the disc, and they know that that's a big thrower and that they need to get into the end zone to catch that disc.
Well, I talked about it before the game. I talked to some of these players on Delta before the game, and they simply said, and I quote, "We are so good, hype us up."
Well, they're definitely not wrong. It's 4-1 right now, and so far they've only let 3 goals in on the entire tournament.
4-1 the score, and with that score, they've scored obviously now I believe that's up to 43 goals 43 points this tournament, because they scored 13 in all 3 of their games yesterday. Math is not my best subject, but I think that is 43.
43, 3 points. Regardless of the math, that's dominating.
43-3.
Yeah. Historic numbers.
Unreal numbers, and I know it's probably not tallied somewhere, but I wouldn't be surprised to see if that by the end of this tournament, Delta's up there for the biggest plus-minus differential in tournament history, especially for rain.
I think if they even get 0-13 their next 2 games, I think they still have maybe one of the best plus-minuses of the entire tournament, but clearly they're not playing like that, and clearly they want to win this game here.
Lynn will knock it back to number 18. Here's 18 for Killarney. And as you can see, Delta's pressuring Killarney to fall back inside their own zone. And now Killarney will look to move the disc up with that speed you talked about. And that is an incomplete pass. Delta will take over back once again here on offense. Number 13 will throw it back to number 2. Good huck back to the left side of the field. Clap catch is complete. She'll throw it to the end zone. It's caught by Paisley McGill, who will be in the end zone for the score. 5-1 the score now for Delta over Killarney.
Now, regardless of the skill level here, this is a very high level ultimate we're seeing right here. They're playing at an incredibly fast pace. As a coach, I want to push my players to move that disc on a turnover, and we're seeing it right here. They get that quick turn, couple short passes, no one's holding the disc for too long, and they got 3 or 4 players open in the end zone right now, and no one's guarding them.
We saw that in their previous point too. They got the disc off the turnover. It was tapped in. All it took is one pass for the Cutters or not even the pass. All it took was the turnover happening where it did for the Cutters to go to the end zone. Made the job easy for the handler. The handler knew someone was going to be there in the end zone, and the Cutters able to receive the pass for that score there. And I think you saw something similar right here. Fluid disc movement by the Delta Pacers upfield to get that score as well.
Yeah, and while the score is 5-1, this Killarney team isn't out of the game yet. They are doing a really good job of dicing up the Delta zone. They are finding the gaps in the wall to get it to their mids, but just a couple errant passes where they are speeding up the game, they're finding an open player, and maybe just a little bit of a missed throw, miscommunication, and it ends up in a turnover. Their speed is doing them well, but they need to learn how to slow it down and, take the open pass and be a little bit more secure with the disc.
Shall remind you, JointWorks helps athletes recover faster, move better, and perform at their peak with expert rehab and performance care. Learn more at jointworks.ca. We thank JointWorks for being a proud supporter of this weekend's tournament. And you and I talked about this last game as well, Justin. This is really, for some of these players, their first chance at a sanctioned tournament this Ultimate season.
Yeah, for some of these players, this might be the first time they're playing Ultimate, and if it is, incredible what I'm seeing right now. But it seems that both these teams are very well experienced and have a lot of history playing Ultimate.
We're back to live action here as Killarney will look to move the disc upfield, but again, it's that Delta defense as well telling the story. They're pressuring Killarney to fall back inside their own end of the field and not allowing the defense to really move the disc upfield. They're forced to swing this one back. Here's the long huck down the other way. It's intercepted. Delta will move back on offense with rapid speed. Number 2 for the Pacers will move it back out to the far side. Look at this speed from the Pacers. Good throw back out to number 2 as he'll swing it out to the near side. Number 19 has it. Ramaj as he'll throw it forward, and that is incomplete. Killarney will be able to get the defensive stop there.
Yeah, I would love to see Killarney move the disc around a bit more, get that zone a little bit tired, and then try to find the holes in the middle. Right now, they're getting a little impatient and trying to huck it down.
So we'll see the disc now from Killarney as they'll look to move it upfield. Comes back near the near sideline. Dropped back as it's thrown out to the far side, and that is incomplete. Ramaj will take the disc as he'll throw it now to the end zone. Here's a chance, and that is caught. What a catch. And a great catch there will put Delta up by a 6-1 score. Unless I am mistaken, if they're going to call it out of bounds here. I think that does seem to be the case, so it'll stay 5-1 for now at least. I saw the cones at the far side. Let's take a look at the replay right here. As the first interception there off the turnover, a good huck thrown to the end zone. It was caught, but I'm not sure on that landing there. They might have been out of bounds, so Killarney will take back possession here.
Just enough pressure by that Killarney defender to sort of force the Delta defender to catch it out of bounds there.
Near sideline. It's flipped forward, and that is intercepted, as it will be the Delta Pacers taking possession of the disc. They'll move it forward. Throw now towards the end zone, and that is incomplete. It'll come back out now to the far side corner. Moved back. Now at the near the end zone line. It comes back out to the near side of the line. Here's 16 on Killarney. Moves that one back. As we'll see the drop pass near sideline. It stays in play for now. Good pass there with not much space to work with. Here's a chance at the end zone, and that is caught. An easy catch and an easy score here for Killarney, who get behind the Delta defense. And Delta's defense there caught sleeping perhaps. And Killarney's got their second point on the board.
Yeah, Killarney was able to sort of work it up that same sideline, which is a little unconventional, but if they're able to shoot it through those tight gaps and just get it right past the cup, they're able to shoot it into the midfield and find an open player downfield, and just a little bit caught sleeping by that Delta team.
So Killarney will be happy. They've been able to match the most goals scored against this Delta team this tournament. And again, just that is a big confidence boost for this Killarney team, who obviously made this game a 2-1 score at one point. And now it's a 5-2 score for Delta. But again, lots of time remaining. At least 46 minutes remain here into this one.
Yeah, we're sort of starting to see the players who are sort of shining for each team, for Killarney and Delta. For Killarney, it's number 22 and that number 18 who are doing a lot of the disc facilitating. And for Delta, it's hard to say, but it seems like their entire team is almost clicking. They got a lot of big shooters for their handler side, and then the girls are doing an excellent job of getting those discs deep and just receiving them and being able to be targets downfield.
So Delta's coaching staff not necessarily needing to talk over to the team. And I think that just also speaks to the trust that the coach has in his team, that his team will be ready to respond even after giving up a tough point. Killarney's coaching staff has finished their conversations with their team. So we will see a resumption here of live action.
Yeah, maybe sort of an unspoken part about, Killarney or Delta being so dominant is that their O-line hasn't really had a chance to play together that much. If they're always pulling, they're always on defense. So this will be some of the few points that the Delta's O-line has had to, play together.
And so it comes back now to the end zone as Delta will look to take the disc upfield. As that is caught, a great catch there after seeming like he almost bobbled the disc. He'll swing it back out to the near side. Roberts, number 16, will move it back to number 19. Great swing upfield, out to the far side. As Roberts, with a bit of a give and go, will look to move the disc, continue moving the disc upfield. Roberts with a pivot, great pass, looks to find the open lane at the end zone, and that is caught.
Wow.
What a catch. And Delta resumes their 5-point lead. It is 7-2.
Just absolute trust in that receiver. The Delta receiver was covered in the end zone, but number 19 having the presence of mind to trust their receiver deep, just throw it up in the air. She's down there somewhere, and she'll come down with it, and it's clear that happened. We'll take a look at this again. A little bit of a shimmy, rips out a nice forehand to the break side, and maybe the Killarney defender wasn't expecting it because she thought she was covered, but even if they're in the end zone and you could be face guarding them, you always got to be aware that disc is up and being able to play defense at a moment's notice.
So correction, it is a 6-2 game, not the 5-point deficit. And so we will see the score stay at 6-2.
One thing I like to sort of highlight about this Delta team as well is on the couple points that they've played where they didn't have those fast break opportunities, they are able to just work it up the field slowly as well. Not only are they a deep receiving team, but they have enough cognitive memory to know that, maybe this isn't going to work this time. Let's just work it up the field slowly and find the open person instead. Killarney made the adjustment to cover them deep, and now they're just taking that short game.
On the clock-wise, we are approaching halftime. I mean, we are already at the halfway time, but as we saw in our last game, the team's perhaps not too aware of that, and they'll eventually take halftime at some point. It's still a 6-2 game.
Yes, that 45-minute halftime rule is relatively new to Ultimate, actually, and I'm not surprised that a lot of coaches aren't keeping that in mind as much.
So there's the pull. It ends up back out to the outside of the near sideline. And we will see Killarney head on offense. And it's been a strong half so far for the Delta Pacers, and they're looking to build on their lead. But Killarney knows this game is not over yet by any stretch of the imagination. As you see the feisty defense by number 14 on Delta as she goes to help the far side man on the strong side. Here's Brady, number 25. Brady, and that is intercepted. A great play there, great awareness by number 88 for the Pacers. He'll do the long huck to the end zone, and that is incomplete.
That was a great adjustment there by the Killarney player. You get that turnover, you might be feeling down, but those Delta players are running deep every single time, and you just got to go play defense right away.
And so we'll see the swing pass there, ends up back out of the near side, and you'll often see the defenders, especially in certain situations, try and force force the cutters or force the handlers to throw, the disc one direction, Justin. And I think you see that as the season and as the game progresses on, that force becomes a lot more of a tactic that teams use. And a great interception there by number 88. At the center line, he'll drop it back to number 66. Long huck thrown to the end zone, and that is caught. Great catch there by number 17, who stole the score perhaps from number 18 of Delta. But hey, for the coaches, you score anyways, and now Delta's up 7-2.
And that is halftime for these two teams here. Delta with a very dominating performance, able to play both sides of the disc, being able to stifle the Killarney offense with their zone, and then being able to play that deep game as well as the short game. This Delta team is very dominant right now.
Yeah, they're able to play well on both sides of the disc. 7-2 the score for Delta over Killarney. Well, that, folks, we'll step aside for a brief moment. When we return, we'll have the second half here for you. You are watching the 2026 Rain Invite presented by Vancouver Ultimate on Trick Shots YouTube channel. Welcome back inside South Arm Park in Richmond as you're watching continued coverage of the 2026 Rain Invite presented by Vancouver Ultimate. Second half set to begin here between Delta and Killarney. It's a 7-2 lead so far for Delta over Killarney, and just a well-played first half by the Delta Pacers.
Yeah, we were talking at half. This Delta team is playing way beyond their years. They're playing, oh, don't hit me.
Head.
Way beyond their years there. Maybe a little bit of a commentator's curse again, but they are playing at an excellent speed. They're playing with a lot of experience to know whether or not to play fast or slow, and they're dominant right now.
Well, I think the other thing with that there is, with this Killarney team, their handlers have been having to face a lot of defense from the Delta Pacers who have, especially in that early stages of that first half, they did a great job in keeping the Killarney team hemmed in near their own end zone, and were able to force many turnovers because of that.
Yeah, and we're seeing a little bit of an adjustment by this Killarney team already. They're moving the disc a bit more side to side, and they're not skipping any passes, so let's hope they are able to retain possession, keep this, or make this a close game.
Good swing passes there, good lateral movement, short passes here from Killarney, as that will come all the way back out to the near sideline. The pass is complete. Now to the red zone, and that is thrown in.
Great
and
lefty.
Killarney will score here.
Great
Get
left.
one back.
Oops, sorry. Great lefty by that Killarney player there to just sort of break the mark there. And that's now officially the most amount of points that has been scored on by Delta, or at least tied.
Yeah, we'll take a look at the replay right here. As you see, just the good lateral movement of the disc, a good swing pass back out to the near side of the sideline, and no mistake made there throwing the disc into the end zone when it is caught. And you are correct. This is actually, Killarney has surpassed the amount of total goals scored against Delta this entire tournament in this one game alone. So again, continuing to build confidence here for Killarney as they are only down by 4 points, and a lot can happen here in the second half. Halftime obviously is made for adjustments, so good adjustments by the Killarney coaching staff there, establishing a bit more use of the swing pass, the good lateral movement down the field, and they're able to find success because of it.
Now, being able to use the entire width of the field is opening up these options downfield, and that's how they're just able to score a bit right now. And we're going to see a chance at Killarney's defense, who I believe just play straight person, and see if they're able to sort of put a stop to Delta's offense here.
7-3 the score as Delta leads Killarney 32-26 the time remaining here. Here's the pull, and as that will come all the way downfield and will land. So Delta's offense will get a chance to go to work. Good pass to McKay at the near side. McKay will swing it out to the far side. Here's Delta's number 1. He'll look for a pass. Looking. A long huck back down to the end zone. McGill's got a chance, and she catches it. Paisley McGill with another reception as she scores the point. It is 8-3 for Delta.
Yeah, McGill kind of just losing her defender there, doing a little bit of a shimmy in the cutting section. Took 2 hard steps under, then went deep, and that disc goes up, and she was the only one in the end zone.
And you'll see there once again just the long huck all the way downfield, and McGill right place, right time on the reception. It is 8-3. And for Delta, a good chance for them to get that point back in which they gave up earlier on. And well, as we made mention, this is the last time we'll see either of these teams today, because this is the only Senior B game we're doing in today's tournament.
Yes, but Delta is looking very dominant, and who knows how the results will be. You can keep up on the VUL website for the schedule and results about the Senior B tournament, but they are looking like a title favorites right now.
Oh, very much. Both on the defensive side and the offensive side of the disc as well. We'll see what adjustments they try and make over. And I don't think I've seen the Delta coach go over once to try and instruct his team after they've either scored a point or after they've given up a point. I think that just speaks to how much confidence he has in his group.
Yeah, being able to leave it to the players to make these decisions not only, puts that trust in the players that they can make the right decisions, but also on the field when the coaches aren't really giving detailed instructions, trusting that they're able to make those on-the-fly changes as well.
So the Killarney coaches have had their discussions, and here will come the pull.
And we're definitely going to see a zone coming out of these Delta players here, and a big pull into the back end zone, but
yeah, the Killarney players will look to start up here. Great pull there by Delta. Comes back out. The disc comes back out of the near side. Just outside the near sideline, thrown all the way back. As it'll come back out to the near corner. Ooh, good swing pass there. Is through. Comes back out to midfield. And yeah, I wasn't sure if they were going to call that a travel or not, but it ends up being safe for now, I guess.
yeah, getting a little bit of a chuckle from both teams there. 27 sort of took a little bit of a journey with that.
He traveled around the world with that. Number 18 with a great pass. Drop pass gets through out to the far side as that is caught. And again, having to be careful with the feet there. This is going to the end zone, and it is intercepted. As now the long huck. Oh, just too much power on that one there, and it's going to be a turnover as Killarney will take possession here. Lots of interesting things happening in the last minute there, though, Justin.
Yes, a lot of really interesting things and a lot of really good things as well. Killarney is, as I was saying, about to move the disc, but
swing pass to the end zone, and that is caught as Killarney will get another score, and now they have doubled the amount of goals scored against Delta in this one game alone. Then Delta has allowed the entire tournament. 8-4 is the score.
Killarney sort of doing their best Delta impression. Maybe perhaps discussion on the field, but just seeing one of their players open deep and just hucking it down as fast as they can. And I think this play might be called back. To my knowledge, maybe 2-2 didn't tap the disc in and just ran up and hucked it right away, so it looks like this disc is actually going to go back to number 2-2 there.
So they had called a huck initially, but as you made mention, I think it is going to be a Killarney disc once again. So that last point will not count. It's still an 8-3 game. And Killarney end up turning the disc over. It's contested. Number 3 thinks that it was turned over, and that is indeed going to be the case as Delta will take possession. Hammer pass, and that is incomplete.
27 rushing to pick up the disc there, or 22, apologies.
Yeah, very much. As you'll see, number 22 low here, double teamed. Elects to drop it back, swing pass out to the far side. That is incomplete. Delta looking to take advantage here as they will pick up the disc in rather rapid fire. Far side at the sideline. The pivot foot is established. The stall count getting up here. It's thrown to the end zone, and that is caught.
Looking for options downfield, didn't really see any, but in the very last seconds, finding an open player deep and being able to find that open person and complete a pass there.
So that will be a pass that is completed, and I believe that will count as the score. So Killarney will exchange bodies. We'll take a look at the replay right here, Justin. Good pass to the end zone.
Yeah, you can sort of see him with the disc, looking for any options. Nothing really in the handler space, nothing really in the cutter space, but sort of throwing up a prayer. But anytime there's open space, you can expect a Delta player to get there fast enough to catch the disc.
So 9-3 the score here for Delta over Killarney. And, you know, with that 26-12 to go here on the game clock, Delta only needs 4 more points for the score cap. And the question now begs, will it be the score cap or will it be the hard cap that sends us home on this one?
Delta playing extremely fast. I have my money on it being a score cap win, but this Killarney team is moving the disc quite well. Just a couple execution errors when they get the disc past the cup and they're moving it a bit too fast. I would love to see them just slow it down a tiny bit. But we do see the usual 3 or 4 handlers on this Killarney team who have been doing a really good job of moving the disc, but hopefully they're just able to execute a tiny bit better to, you know, make this a bit of a closer game.
So it seems like the Delta Pacers will get ready to throw the huck. No, throw the pole rather. Was Killarney. They're ready to receive the pole. Here's the pole.
I'd expect this Delta zone to do more work on this Killarney team, but Killarney moving it up as fast as they can. A good strategy right now while there's no defenders.
Yeah, going up the near side. Comes back out to the far side of the field. Good fake there. As it's picked up here by 22 from Killarney. He'll drop it back out to the back side of the field. Spun back around.
And we see those far side handlers just a little bit too far. Killarney's right now playing like 2-on-4. We need those Killarney handlers on the far side to come a little bit closer to make those passes a bit easier.
Swing pass. It's thrown upfield. Long huck heading back down the other way, and that is intercepted. Great play there by number 2 from Delta. He'll throw it to 88, back to number 2. He'll throw the huck to the end zone. This one's got a chance, and it is caught. What a pass. Great execution there. An incredible pass from number 2. He finds the end zone. 10-3 for Delta.
A little bit of a Steph Curry moment with number 2 there. Threw that huck, made sure it was good, and then just turned around before
just looked back.
Completed.
And here we'll take a look at the huck. As you'll see there, I mean, what movement of the disc here from the Delta Pacers. 10-3 the score. And they find themselves 3 scores away from punching their ticket to the semifinals of the Senior B tournament.
And I've said it once and I'll say it again. This Delta squad is incredible at just making plays off a turnover, catching the Killarney team off guard, and they've made the adjustments too, but Killarney is just, or Delta is just playing even faster than before, using their numbers in the short field, and then, you know, regardless of who's in the end zone, trusting that player and knowing they'll come down with it.
And for us, next here on Field 5, we'll be doing a junior semifinal matchup between Point Grey and Burnaby South, which should be a great one. Point Grey defeating Semiahmoo in the quarterfinals 9-6. Burnaby South a 6-5 win over McNeil. So, I mean, that has all the marbles to be a closely contested matchup between those two teams.
Yeah, and Point Grey, my alma mater, I know the junior team is doing quite well right now. They're having a very large pipeline of players coming from 3 elementary schools who have all played, so this Point Grey junior team is always quite strong every single year.
So that will be the matchup we have at 11:30 local time. For now, we continue on with this Senior B matchup. Of course, the winner of this matchup will play the winner of Palmer and Bernett in the senior divisions. Mosscrop facing off against my alma mater and David Thompson. That game's going on as well. I'm excited to see how that one plays out. Mosscrop, I know that school very well too. My cousins attended Mosscrop Secondary, and it is Mosscrop was just a few moments away from my my post-secondary school, BCIT.
Yes, the only sort of knowledge I have of Mosscrop is playing them in basketball and just getting absolutely destroyed. Point Grey never a good basketball school, and Mosscrop being way better than Point Grey ever was.
I remember the basketball days at David Thompson too. We used to have a tournament called Invitationals every year, and you know, great times all around. Killarney looking for the long out here to the end zone, and that is incomplete. Perhaps trying to signal anything you can do, I can do better there to Delta, but unfortunately for them, it stays a lead currently for the Delta Pacers of 10-3. As number 66 will swing it back out of the near side. Number 16, they'll throw it back out of the near side. Number 22 will take it. She'll move it to number 88. Number 88, good huck down the middle, and that is intercepted. I think he aimed it for the his teammate who was closer to the disc. It almost got to the teammate that was further from the disc, but the disc was ultimately intercepted by the Killarney player in front.
Yeah, just a little bit out of the reach for the Delta player there, but a good look nonetheless. And now Delta's on defense, and they're back on offense.
Yeah, the Killarney team turns the disc over. It'll come back to the near sideline at the near corner, thrown to the end zone. Clap catch is complete. It is 11-3 for Delta.
And that point just confirms to me that these Delta players have very, very strict roles and are very good at these roles. We can see all of the players who are usually the receivers running away from this, looking for the open space, and we see 16 rush up as fast as he can to the disc. We'll see a replay here. Back to the close sideline. a little bit of miscommunication by the Kalani players, and we see all the Delta receivers running to get open, and 15 rushing up right away and just finding an open player. And that is a well-oiled machine right there. Everyone knows their role. Everyone is a cog in the machine, and when they play well, it's fast.
All smiles, it seems to be on the Delta Pacers front, and they should be all smiles with how they've been putting together a dominating performance, not just this game, but all tournament long. So we'll see now. Killarney will have a chance to receive the disc as we await the pull from the Delta Pacers.
And as a coach, it's hard because this is a very, if you were a Killarney coach, this is a very tough loss for your team. You're hoping to have higher hopes to get further in the tournament, but you got to use this loss as a learning lesson, figure out what went wrong this game and use it to grow, not even just for later in the season, but just this tournament too.
And for Killarney, if this result does stand, they will be facing off against either, I believe, Palmer or Bernett, and their next matchup will be at 1 o'clock local time. So again, still some time in between now and then for them to rest, refuel, maybe grab a bite to eat from somewhere nearby here, and then reset for what should be a good game for them to kind of build off of the learning lessons, as you said, Justin, from this game to try and implement in that game there, the 1 o'clock matchup.
And once again, we see this Delta team not being sort of led by their coach, but being led by their athletes, which is good leadership experiences for all of them, and proving that it's working right now.
So here comes the pull, as that one will just get past center field line. And this is where Killarney will begin their offense. You see their Delta now triple teaming in a certain instance there, as the disc will come back out to the near side. It'll come back across out to the far wall, the far line rather. Drop pass back, and you can see that Delta defense once again forcing Killarney to play the drop coverage. Number 16 will move it back out to the far sideline, and great pass receptions here from Killarney as they're able to complete the short passes. Far sideline, a hammer throw. This one's going to the end zone, and that is intercepted. Great interception there by number 66, and another great interception there by number 22 of Killarney. So the disc will end up back out to the far sideline.
We're seeing end zone calls.
To the end zone, and a great catch falling down. They weren't making the call for no reason there, Justin. Great catch to the end zone, and it is 11-4.
Yeah, just being able to take advantage of the Delta defense, who is usually used to playing zone. When you get that short field turn, zone sometimes isn't the best option, and they're just a little bit caught up in their person defense there.
So 11-4 will be the score here for Delta, as Killarney gets 4 on the board. We'll take a look at the replay. I mean, you just see here they were calling for the end zone pass. He goes low instead. And, sometimes in certain situations, how do you differentiate between going low on a pass and going high? I know it has to obviously make sense in the situation, but, when you're trying to get points on the board, it does certainly make a difference.
Yeah, when I'm trying to go low, a little bit of a low release, I do want it to go a bit higher, so maybe a little bit of a missed throw on the Killarney player. But when you're going low, it's because sometimes you have a taller defender on you, which this Delta team is, and they're not able to get quite as low as you are. Even though foot blocks are allowed in the senior division, surprisingly, not a lot of men's players use their feet, and they're more likely to swipe with their hands, even if their hands are, inches off the ground.
And appreciate everyone tuning in here on this Sunday as Delta takes on Killarney. 11-4 is the score, and I know we've had a couple of support dogs out here today supporting the athletes as well. With that, we shall take the chance to remind you, London Pub is Main Street's go-to spot for sports, bar games, and team hangouts. Check them out at londonpubvan.com. Thank you to London Pub for their support. You can find them at 700 Main Street in Vancouver.
And Delta having another chance for the offense, but no one picks and no one gets the pull, and one of the Delta players might be stranded in the back cone right now.
And so the disc will end up back upfield And the Pacers doing a great job moving that disc up as it'll come back out.
Maybe a little bit of a call on the field discussing whether or not the girl on the far side was in or out, and it looks like they are saying she was in.
So they will say that she stayed in. Swing pass, a great clap catch there at midfield. And he'll look for the huck back out to the near side, and that is caught, intercepted, and all the height mismatch there, even number 14 of Delta realizing it. Nothing much that she could have done there. I think a lot of people would have been more surprised had she made that catch.
And we saw Kalani put a little bit of a zone of their own, and that generated a turn, and now we get a chance to see Delta zone once again.
A double team there.
Now, a quick rule about that double team. There is only one player allowed to be within 10 feet of the disc, and anyone closer counts as a double team. If there is a double team called, the count goes down 2 stalls, and if they're double teaming again, then it goes back down to 0.
Good shout there, Justin, as we'll see the interception here. Delta looking to move the disc up with speed. Number 14 throws it back to the end zone, and that is caught. 12 up for the Delta Pacers as they're up 12-4. And look at the celebration there as they are all smiles.
A little bit of a reversal there. Usually it is the guys throwing to the girls in the end zone, but this time, girls with the confidence to pick up the disc and find an open guy. And once again, Delta, regardless of the gender, they have numbers in the end zone.
Let's take a look at the replay here. As just the turnover forced by Delta's defense. You could also say a bit of a miscommunication there between Killarney's players as Delta is able to get the score at the end zone, and they are now up 12-4. And match point is upon us here. Hardcap still has 13.5 minutes to go. So for Delta, you know, it would feel much more better for them to finish it off with the score cap win.
And this Delta team, obviously, maybe a little perhaps disappointed they let someone score more than 2 points on them, but they have to be happy with the result here, and they're playing extremely well on both sides of the field.
Now, I'll have to agree with you there. 12-4 is the lead for the Delta Pacers. Of course, the Killarney coaching staff still talking things over. We shall remind you, Friction Gloves are designed to improve your throws and catches in any weather. Elevate your game at frictiongloves.com. Special thank you to Friction Gloves for being a proud supporter of this weekend's tournament.
And these spring tournaments are excellent for gloves, and we don't see a lot on the field, but if the rain comes out again, we'll definitely see some more gloves coming on as well.
Disc ends up back upfield as it'll come across out to the far side. Moved back over. And as number 18 will pick up the disc. They'll swing it across out to the far side.
Seeing a lot of excellent swinging going on. A little bit stagnant right now, but the side-to-side movement is getting them yards slowly but surely.
Swing pass ends up back out to the near side as it's dropped back out to the far side of the field. Delta players having to be careful there. Moved back out to the far wall, out past the far sideline. As it comes back out, dropped past the sideline once again. Quick passes, short passes here from Killarney. And now forced to playing the drop coverage once again due to the feisty defense from Delta. Miscommunication there. It's a turnover. Delta will take over the disc. Have a chance here for them to seal the game. Taylor throws it forward to number 27. She'll look for a pass, hands it off. Now to the end zone, and that is caught. And that will do it for this one as the Delta Pacers defeat Killarney by a score of 13-4. And Delta moves on to the semifinals of the Senior B bracket.
A dominant performance by this Delta team, and if they're playing like this the entire tournament, I won't be surprised to see them in the finals. And, you know, right now they might be the tournament shoe-in to win it all.
And just a lot of, you know, for this Delta team, it really was scoring by committee. There wasn't, you know, necessarily one person that had to control the entire game. Really was scoring by committee for them this weekend.
Yes, everyone getting involved, a very big team win.
And for Killarney here, obviously a tough pill to swallow, losing this one, but definitely a learning lesson, as you said, for the game later on.
Yep, they'll use this loss as a chance to learn, maybe focus a bit more on swinging that disc and just being a little bit more calm, knowing when to play fast, knowing when to play slow, but they have the tools ready to make a run later in the season.
Now, as we do approach the end of this one here today, any final comments, Justin, on this game?
No, this was a great game to watch, and if any fans at home are watching, this was a fantastic example of sort of what the game is evolving into, playing fast and using those turnovers to your advantage.
And so it is a 13-4 win for Delta. They will play at Field 9, 1 o'clock local time here. A couple hours for them to rest and relax. And for us here, our next game coming up at 11:30 local time, it's a junior semifinal matchup as we will have Point Grey taking on Burnaby South. And that will be a great game in the semifinals of the junior tournament. And Justin, appreciate you as always for being amazing to work with on the call. What can you say about the game that we have coming up and why fans should watch it?
Yeah, this is a semifinals game in the junior division with two very teams that are on a hot streak right now, Point Grey and Burnaby South. Both very strong programs right now, and if you watch these games in maybe 2 years, you'll be seeing some of these players on the senior teams, the club stage, and even the national stage for some of them.
Well, Justin, appreciate working with you as always for this one. We got 2 down, we got 4 more to go. And now on behalf of Matthew on the camera, we have Theo in the producer's chair. This is your Garage Lily saying so long. Thanks for watching the 2026 Rain Invite presented by Vancouver Ultimate. Start playing today at VUL.ca. Again, a special thank you to VC Ultimate and the City of Richmond for helping make today happen. And join us at 11:30 local time as we will have a junior semifinal matchup. Point Grey takes on Burnaby South.